No game tonight for the Buffalo Sabres, though they did hold practice earlier this afternoon. Noah Ostlund was not in attendance. He is getting evaluated for an upper body injury. And the Sabres Injury Report, it is brought to you by Hamburg Overhead Door. Is your garage door injured? Call the experts at Hamburg Overhead Door to get your door healthy again. Sabres are back in game action tomorrow night when they host Detroit. Pack night, though, across the NHL, 13 total games in all. Some notable ones, though, to keep an eye on. Montreal hosts Columbus. Dallas is at the Islanders, and the Sens, they are hosting the Penguins. And the keynote for Ottawa, Thomas Chabot, he is out 6 to 8 weeks with a broken forearm. And then the Kraken, they are in Florida versus Tampa Bay. All of those games will get underway at 7. Around the rest of the sports world, in Major League Baseball, it is kind of opening day following the Yankees and the Giants yesterday. The Mets are currently up on the Pirates 6-4 in the 5th, though the big news from that, Paul Skeens does not make it through the first inning after giving up 4 hits, 2 walks, and 5 earned runs. The Blue Jays are going to get their season started tomorrow at home versus the Athletics. The Bisons also will start the season at home tomorrow when they host Scranton. And then in the NCAA tournament, that gets back underway tonight. Texas versus Purdue just after 7, and Arizona versus Arkansas following that is going to be right here on WGR. Coverage for those games will begin at 7, and then the other 2 matchups are Iowa and Nebraska at 7:30, and then Illinois versus Houston will follow that game. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for West New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
The Tampa Bay Rays, they're defunct.
They don't exist anymore?
They don't exist anymore. I just
the
decided
Red Sox?
Today. We should make a call and let them know, but I just decided they're out. I would rather watch the guy, the painting guy. Who's the painting guy?
Bob Ross.
I'd rather watch Bob Ross than watch my favorite baseball team play in Tampa.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
What a matchup. It is bracket season. What a matchup. Your favorite team playing a game in Tampa or Bob Ross painting a lake and a mountain.
Give me the lake all day long.
On WGR, Sports Radio 550.
Give me the lake. What if it's opening day? Give you the lake? You still want the lake on opening day?
I think opening day I might make an exception if the Red Sox were in Tampa and I could find my way to the game somehow. It's on a channel that I'm aware of and have and don't have to get a code sent to my phone, then
it's a big if.
Right, I know. Then I think I would make an exception for opening day.
Okay.
First game of the year, sure. I'll hang out and watch your game in your crappy, lousy domed ballpark with the walkways.
I'm driving home from the Sabres game and turn on Yankees Giants on MLB radio because I'm that cool. It's John Miller, which was great.
Yeah, that's nice. I haven't heard him in a long time.
I didn't know that I'd ever hear John Miller again. Wasn't sure if he was still working. And two different guys, at least 2 different times, very carefully to pimp tickets for their next game. I think they're reading from the same scripts, right? I mean, these are team employees. As much as I like John Miller, he's a team employee. It's opening day tomorrow. This was not opening. The 7-0 loss we all just endured for the Giants was not opening day. Friday, they don't play today. Friday is opening day because that was opening night. And I don't think you can get away with that.
Oh, good. They did that thing where they played a game and then you're all excited for the season to begin and there's 162 games, but they take the next day off.
Yes. The Yankees and Giants are not playing today, but they insistently called tomorrow's game numerous times opening day. And I don't think you can do that. I think there's one opening day, and if it's at night, it's at night.
Mm-hmm.
That's opening day.
Yes.
I mean, they tried opening week, right? The NFL did that. Kickoff week or kickoff weekend, or maybe they still do that. I don't know. I don't think that's good enough.
No,
it's not opening day.
I think you can say
it's game 2.
This is lame for opening day. There should be more than one game on opening day. Opening day should still be in Cincinnati at 1 p.m. or whatever old guy yells at cloud thing you want to attach to this. You keep going if you want. But I don't think you can say this is an opening day. It's the first game of the season, even if it's being played when it's dark out, it's opening day. It's
Right.
the first game of the year.
I myself only consider it opening day if John Kibler is the home plate umpire. Otherwise, it's not.
Right.
It's not enough.
Not good enough.
It's not legitimate enough. Bob Ross died 31 years ago. You know, it's funny. That's an old clip, but it's not that old.
No, it's not.
He was long dead before we met.
Sure.
Bob Ross. So
Yeah.
the painting guy
Right.
was in the ground at the time of that little conversation.
I didn't, I didn't.
1995.
I really didn't know. Yeah.
But he has transcended.
Sure.
Everybody knows who you mean.
Well, he's alive.
Even kids know who you mean.
He's alive in my heart.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
Bob Ross. Well, lots to talk about with baseball starting and everything else. Can we do the Sabres game up top here, though? I was at the game, which is different than watching it because you don't really have somebody telling you what maybe you missed.
Mm-hmm.
The tying goal, the winning goal. Talk to me.
I think there's definitely room to criticize the goalie on the winning goal.
Went right through him
Yeah.
from the circle.
Yeah, I mean, the guy was
Nobody in his way?
I was in all alone.
That's what I thought.
He was in all alone, but he was.
Well, he wasn't in, it wasn't a breakaway.
No, right, but he was. I mean, he was. No one was going to check him. The guy could have. I mean, could have come right to the net, kind of like who had this chance? A Sabre had a chance to walk right in, and he tried to pass. And Paul Ostlund, I think, maybe could have walked. Anyway, doesn't matter.
Last night?
No, in a game.
Okay.
It's the same kind of thing where it's not a breakaway, but there's nobody. You could just go. Anyway, but he shoots it probably because he sees how Luukkonen's coming over. I think he's late coming over. It's Pasternak, which you got to respect.
On the other side.
On the other side. Pasternak's got the puck. So Luukkonen cannot cheat, right? But everybody is he's got two guys. Tuck is cheating, leaves Zacha wide open. But his legs are, the 5-hole is wide open on the play. And I can't speak to directly how much it is to ask the goalie to move over that quickly and be sealed up there. But I feel like you see guys do it. He just left the guy too much to. It wasn't like he just squeaked through. Like there was a huge hole there. The way he came over, he just was not fundamentally sound coming over. I would say.
I just want to ask this about 3-on-3. Possession being everything in 3-on-3. Is Luukkonen maybe thinking about what to do with the puck after the shot? I mean, he's a pretty good example for this to my eyes. Just during the course of regular play, and maybe this is all goalies now. He's putting the puck where he wants to put it, if he can, on a rebound, on a save. He'll put the puck in the corner. I thought last night a few times he was really good at how to play the puck. A puck came in to the left of the net, and instead of just sort of like leaving it or bumping it to the corner, he made the decision to come out of his crease and play it and clear it. And that looked like the right decision. He was successful in that. There were a few of those in this game. I think it's maybe a strong area for him.
I didn't check the box score, but if he didn't get an assist, I'm not sure why. Maybe because a Boston player ended up with the puck. But the Benson goal is him.
Okay,
he throws that puck right up the wall. I don't think it touches another Sabre, but again, maybe a Bruin defender gets it and then Benson strips him and whatever. Anyway, he made the play to break Benson.
Fine, yeah. I thought he had he's impressive in that area. Yeah. When it's 3-on-3 and it's not a super high danger shot, like, okay, well, he's late. If he's late, 5-hole, then okay. What does he want to do with the puck on that? He's assuming he's going to be able to stop it from there.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know.
Does he doesn't want to freeze it, right?
I think probably not. Because you would have a chance to swing back the other way pretty quickly, maybe with a 2-on-1 or even a 3-on-1.
That's what I'm saying. And it's already, I think, this is my position here, that he's confident in himself.
Do you think he's not concentrating enough on making the save because he's thinking about, it's like running before he caught the ball kind of thing?
Okay.
A little bit, maybe.
He's thinking he's going to make the save because it's going to be a bad goal from there. Am I overstating that?
I think a little.
Okay.
I mean, it's midpoint of a face-off circle, open look with a lot of time. Like there's nobody checking the guy, so he has time to sort of, I mean, in hockey terms, I mean, he didn't take all day, but he's got time to choose
Well-
where to go. But I think he chooses to go 5-hole because he could see Luukkonen he was all kind of broken in pieces coming across.
I'm in 118, pretty low last night. I'm almost as far away.
Yeah.
I had a terrible view of it. You hear the puck go in. I can't wait to tell you about the guy I was sitting next to. Oh my God, this guy was such a beauty. I just have just like a little bit of a footnote. You listen to an audiobook and they just sort of stop the story, like footnote.
I'm going to revisit
This
this.
guy was picture Matt Foley from SNL, but a Sabres fan and hammered.
Oh boy.
Like that's who I was sitting next to for this game. And he was so far gone that when Boston scored, he got up and screamed. Sabres fan. He just didn't know which team he was rooting for at that moment, I guess. He didn't know who'd scored the goal.
Tough one.
Anyway,
Yeah.
that's not the point. I just didn't really see when I realized that this was a goal. My thought is, well, he must have sniped it. I mean, the goalie has to know that that's always possible. Like he could just pick the corner and you're beat. But Luukkonen is not expecting to get beat the way he got beat. I just wonder like I've already said, what does he want to do with the puck after he makes the save he probably is assuming he's going to make?
Yeah, I did not hear if he talked and if he was asked about it, so I don't know if he offered any explanation on the play. It's possible he was maybe because of Pasternak being the guy with the puck, he waited, so he's late, and maybe all he tried to do was make himself as big as he could. Because he didn't move the way goalies move on the play. Like his legs are apart and he's sort of like up in his stance. It's just, he might have just tried to gobble up space because he knew he wasn't going to be in good position. I don't know.
Well, that's the other part of it is what he knows about his situation as the shot is being taken.
Yeah.
Like maybe he knows he's in trouble.
It definitely was a play I think you'd like a save on. You know, it's an open, clean look in 3-on-3, but it is not. He just was not sound coming across. So I didn't like that. The play off the boards, I don't know. I also didn't like it, mostly because I think I heard Owen talking about this.
Wait,
this
is
morning.
3-3?
This is 3-3.
Okay,
This is
good.
the Middlestat goal.
I'm asking.
Maybe the big play on that goal is Middlestat winning a battle with Josh Doan below the goal line, which is what started the whole thing to begin with. That's just not something. You tell me Josh Doan and Casey Middlestat are going into a corner to battle for a puck, and I'm going to expect Josh Doan to win that battle.
In the Boston end.
No, behind the
okay.
Sabre net, Middlestat takes the puck off of Doan.
Okay.
Or wins a battle for a loose puck and gets it out to the point, and then the shot comes in, and Middlestat from there has gone to the front of the net smartly. But it looked like Luukkonen, he didn't know. I think he didn't know. I don't think neither he nor Dahlin knew where the puck was exactly. It did take a weird bounce. It deflected. It was screened, and I think he got his blocker on it, but didn't. Thinking about what you want to do with it. On that play, what he probably, if he sees it cleanly, what you'd want to do with it is blocker it into the netting or off the glass. Like just, poof, it's out of here. But he only got a piece of it, and then it bounced weirdly, and they didn't know where it was. But even with that said, it just felt like Luukkonen did not do a good job of protecting his net there. Like he got all turned around.
That happens.
And it was just messy. So he just wasn't prepared for that at all. But I think I have room for like some forgiveness on, because it's just a weird bounce. You know, the shot off his blocker's a weird bounce, off the wall is a knuckleball coming back, and it's just strange. And so, but he didn't do a great job there either. But the winning goal I thought was pretty bad overall on his night.
I guess that's where I was then already. Like just watching it live from basically ice level that was strange, but did they just get a bad bounce there and then yikes, but I'd still like to know what he wants to do with the save in the overtime. And it would vary. On the same shot would be different answers for different situations. It was 40 seconds or so into overtime. The Sabres never touched the puck or had possession in overtime, which I was super bummed about. Whether they win or lose, I'm down there, like I'm getting a 3-on-3. Give me like one chance,
right,
at least, or a shootout even. Like
No,
they never did anything. I don't know. I'm not sure what their numbers are 3-on-3, but I'm kind of glad that the playoffs don't have it.
Oh, they're bad.
Because-
They might be 3-8.
There have been Thompson disaster moments, and I don't know. I'm kind of thinking it's good that they don't play 3-on-3.
Yeah,
for
they
their
are.
own sake.
I think 3-8. They got 8 overtime losses, 40 regulation or overtime wins, and they've got 44. So they're 4-8, I guess, in overtime. So not great.
No.
And it's 2 in a row that I mean they had the puck on Sunday in Anaheim, but lost it pretty quickly. That was a pretty quick goal too, wasn't it?
Minute
Yeah.
10.
So yeah, not great. The whole night was just
It was Boston's game,
yeah they were
except for when they took the lead.
Yeah, did Lindy say after like the first 40 minutes were the worst 2 periods we've played in 3 months or something? Which, that might be an exaggeration, but it was not good.
It might not be.
I know that. Like watching the game, I was texting friends, and Owen was in the press box. I'm like, they don't have it tonight. It's not their night. But yeah, then they managed to, Benson makes a great individual play. They get the other power play goal, and okay, we got the lead again. And then you get that bad bounce.
I already have been saying I can't get enough of Benson, and just last night was
right.
even adding to that.
I was thinking of you when he made that play.
And absolutely just wrecked into the net.
Yep.
And the penalty is called, which kind of shocked me.
Yeah, me too. I thought they would just let that go. it's it's
And
hockey,
then to score on it.
and it's almost April. Right.
So good.
Yep.
I was feeling 20 years ago in those moments. I mean, I was jumping up and just super fired up for those 2 goals. It never felt like their game, but you never know.
Right.
And they got burned. They still got a point. And Tampa has a chance to get within 1 tonight. I mean, we both kind of said yesterday and maybe throughout, Tampa is probably the better team. So it isn't the end of the world if they can't hold Tampa off. It doesn't taint the amazing season.
I don't think anything crumbles here, but they've lost 2 in a row now. Neither in regulation, so they've still got that going for them. But 2 in a row are in overtime. So Friday probably is gonna. A lot of people are gonna pour a lot into Friday. Like, okay, let's end this now. All right, it's another team in the race. Can we just look good tonight, please? Like, let's look good, because it's not that many games ago. I mean, the LA game, right, was they were the better team, clearly. The game before that was San Jose, and that was a game that was maybe not as bad as last night, but I know watching it was sort of like, oh, they don't have it, and then it was 3-0. Right? and then they just coasted home, basically. The game in San Jose last Thursday. So it's 3 out of 4 here that they maybe haven't been in great form. I would say if you accept that San Jose was, they weren't real good in the game, but they still won. So let's get back on track.
Even Los Angeles, I'm happy if you are as well to offer any sort of therapy. We do not want to be losing our minds with 10 games left.
No.
Before the first playoff season in 15 years. Okay, right, everybody? Do we know that? We know that, right? I mean, the fun is getting into the roller coaster and riding the ride. But yeah, I don't want to. Like last night. Okay, I mean, even LA, all these games, your expectation should be, all right, this probably will be close.
Right, it's a hockey game. Right?
I thought about betting the Bruins last night, just objectively, because Buffalo was minus 210 or something. Like, really? They're that much better than Boston? If we're sitting down for these games thinking like the Sabres are just better than Boston, be careful. That's how much better? A little bit. Maybe. Boston played the night before. Okay. That doesn't have to, like, it's just, the margins are very, very thin.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And to me, they still are. I still think
they still are.
Like, I don't come out of last night like, oh, I don't want any part of them. No, it's fine. They didn't have their best goalie in, and I thought Korpisalo had a pretty lucky night. There were a lot of saves. You might have noticed watching in person on TV. there were saves where he's looking the wrong way after the puck hits him.
Thompson from the high slot
right. Like
in the
he
second.
He has no idea where that puck is. Dahlin hits him in kind of the same spot on a play where he came in from the blue line off the right side and got a nice shot off, and it hit Korpisalo like just in between the arm, like in the arm, shoulder, like below the shoulder area. But he looked around after that shot, like, I think he got away with one maybe, but they have a way better goalie, I think, in Swayman. So they didn't have him, but that team doesn't. It's funny to me. I think I said something about Casey Middlestat the other day. Like, I'm not losing.
Yes.
And, it was nice for him to get that goal. Just make me feel like a jerk for saying that about him. But I think I still believe that. I'm not come on. I'm not losing to you.
That game doesn't change.
No, I don't
the
think
big
so.
picture.
No.
Okay. We would say that, right? We lost. We would say that. Let's go to Jeremy here. Hi.
How you guys doing?
Good, thank you.
Just a couple of points or questions. Mike, I know you said you were at the game. Were you behind with the nets?
No.
No? Because I was wondering what the heck the defense was doing, I don't know, 3 or 4 times when Pasternak was getting behind them for breakaways after breakaways. I'm just wondering what the defense was, or were they sleeping? Because he had like 3 or 4 breakaways almost. And then
okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say on that, like on the goal, he didn't score on a breakaway on the goal, but he's in alone on a play where Tuck does not get the puck out of the zone, even though he's like a foot from the blue line with it. And
Pasternak also fell on one.
Right. On that,
yeah, right.
That's
he
right.
tripped over the blue line.
Yeah. On that play, Power is, this is their thing. Power's ready to go up the ice with Tuck. Tuck's about to get the puck out of the zone, and Power is blowing the zone. He doesn't leave the zone, but he's headed up. And the play suddenly turns around on a dime. Now, that doesn't excuse him and McLeod and another forward, I think, for coasting back on that play, which they all did, and allowed for, I think it was Arvidsson to get that rebound after Luukkonen made the nice poke check on Pasternak. But that play, the reason Pasternak is all alone is because Tuck doesn't get the puck out. You can say be more careful, but their whole thing with the D is like getting in the play. And so they're ready to go, and they got burned.
Yeah. And what was your guys' opinion on the tying goal from Middlestat? I came in late to the conversation, but it seemed like UPL was sideways.
Yeah. Yeah, we did just talk about it. He got lost there. I mean, he didn't know where the puck was, which is a problem, but he didn't do a very good job of protecting his net. He just sort of got all spun around and off balance, and it was a tough play for him.
Dan is next. Hi, Dan.
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
So the reason I think they brought in Logan Stanley was to kind of ramp up the physicality, but I haven't noticed like a physical presence very much up to this point. I feel like we may have better defensemen than him, just exclusively as defensemen. But I was just curious to see what you thought about his kind of physical play up to this point. I realize why they would use him in a playoff situation, but right now, are they trying to just get him acclimated to the system, or I guess that's just kind of my thought at this point.
I agree.
He did. He fought in the San Jose home game, but it was one of those. It was like a guy he's got a history with, and it was not like a defend the team kind of thing. It was just like the puck dropped, and like, okay, these guys have fought before; they're going to fight.
The game that defines the season, or the Sabres season, is the Tampa game, and he's not on the ice. He's in the press box doing interviews. Like, he's not with them yet. I don't know. I think toughness is one thing. To me, this Sabres team does not appear to be lacking. They're big enough, and they're scrappy. I don't think I have a problem. I don't mind this for depth. I wasn't against what they did. You want to push and add when you're trying to win. But I'm not sure he's one of their 6 best guys. Like, I feel like the rest of his game is not it. So if I have a team, this will be an interesting decision. Mm-hmm. Like, if I have a team where I think I need somebody that big to save me, then okay. I don't think they do. I think they're sort of showing that they can hold up and we've still got 10 games, and there probably will be injuries. That's that's one reason why you make that trade. But I feel like I'm getting what I was told to expect from Stanley, which is like, well, he's big if that's what you want, but the rest of it.
Last night could have been a spot. Zadorov got after a couple guys, like hit a couple of hard hits, McLeod and I think Tuck. And you could have sent Stanley out there to challenge him and do. The thing about that is, I'm not sure I don't want Zadorov running around trying to injure people. I also kind of want him on the ice if I'm playing them. He's not that good. He's big and he moves and he's mean, but there was a shift in the first period of this game. One of the best shifts the Sabres had. He gave the puck away like 2 or 3 times in the span of a minute and a half. They couldn't get out of their end. So I don't know. I don't want to excuse it. If you have that guy in the lineup, Stanley, he could have challenged Zadorov last night. There was cause to, I think. Nothing he did was cheap. He didn't get penalized for any of it, I don't think. But you still could have gone and tried to, if the idea is deter him from doing that, which I don't really believe in. I think if Nikita Zadorov wants to run you, he's going to run you. Then if Logan Stanley wants to fight him for it, he'll fight him, and then he'll run some more guys.
I don't want the Sabres tilting like that. I mean, that's just been no part of their story. And I know how the playoffs can be described as different. I think I want Stanley to protect my net. And, okay, but I'm doing fine with a guy who's like 5'8". I took him out. So I don't know. I wonder if this is, kind of an audition, like we've been talking, that the Sabres have that luxury if you are on board with that sort of thinking. I mean, they're also trying to win their division and conference.
He is the only guy they really have. Samuelson throws the body, but he's not, he's not intimidating. He's not a fighter. Stanley is. So I think, they got him for that. I would anticipate him being in the lineup for the playoffs, but Timmins playing pretty well last night might be a wrinkle. He had a good night.
Not surprising to me.
I think he had 2 penalty kills, but he played on the penalty kill and they killed both of the penalties.
I think they're going to want that.
And he moved the puck effectively. Now he was with Stanley. I didn't have a problem with Stanley last night either, really. So I don't know what they're going to end up doing there.
And there's Kesselring.
Right.
All right, here we go. 10 games left. Sal Capaccio will join us at 4. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. This is WGR.
puck decisions weren't very good. You're playing a team that's battling as hard as it can to stay in a playoff picture. They won more battles. I don't think that has anything to do with being sluggish. That has a lot to do with willpower, to get over the puck and make sure you win your battle. And we didn't win enough of them. Start of the game, and then you watch some of our puck play in the second period that we just gave them opportunities. The third period, we got back to playing our game.
Lindy Ruff, the Sabres lose in overtime to Boston. Next up, Detroit here tomorrow night at a much more well-appreciated start time of 7. Thank you for 7. TNT has to be like all just sort of the bully and like, oh, we're going to 7:30. What happened on TNT about Coach of the Year, by the way? Did I hear from you?
I'm only going on secondhand information. I saw some of their studio stuff, but not a lot, and not this specific conversation. I heard Jeremy and Joe on our morning show here on WGR today say that at some point, whether it was, I don't know, it could have been pre-intermittent, whatever. Everyone knows when they're on before and during and then after the game. There was a discussion about Coach of the Year, and it was Darren Pang and Anson Carter and
Bissonnette, Liam McHugh.
Bissonnette, thank you. And everyone said, or at least the former players all talked about John Cooper, and their analysis was basically, I can't believe he's never won it. Can you believe it's how in the world has he never won it? And they all said that they would vote for him, and I think broadcasters are voting for that award. I don't know.
They're broadcasters.
They are broadcasters. I don't know if they are broadcasters who are voting for the award, but it would make sense if they are, unless it's maybe the broadcast teams from all 30. I don't know who it is.
It'd be a mix, probably.
Anyway, so I didn't see or hear it, but Jaron Joe said that, they just sort of like matter-of-factly said it's going to be John Cooper, which, I didn't like hearing.
I'll say 3 things. One, you and I have a bet on Lindy. So, full disclosure.
Inherent bias.
I don't need Lindy Ruff to win. I'd like to win $350.
Sure.
So, that's out there. That's one. 2, Tampa is probably the better team and could still very well beat out the Sabres for first place, in which case, voting Lindy is tougher. But, of course, as we all know, the Sabres are coming from a darker place, so you could still consider it a better coaching job. 3 is really, for me, I have to admit, number 1, if instead of Lindy Ruff, we're talking about the coach of the Ducks or somebody, which is, I have made fun of this award for at least 15 years, for it almost always going to the king of PDO, which is the king of your team had the best shooting percentage and save percentage in the league, which is hardly at all about coaching. It's mostly about luck. You could have the very best players and the very best goalie and lord over those stats and okay, but often it goes to teams that's inherent in the consideration for this award. It's like, wow, I didn't expect that. And a lot of people in hockey are sort of blind to, well, what you think you don't need to care about is luck, because you're supposed to be better than that. You think you're better than that. You think you know the game so well that there probably isn't any luck in it for you. And so that can't be anything. So, all right, well, this team was supposed to have 75 points and it has 90. There's your coach of the year. And then they're fired in 2 years because they actually weren't that good in the first place. There's only so far I can go with this Lindy Ruff case, because the Sabres are a little bit that team. They're good, but they're not like the kind of team where you can't deny anything about them. They're winning like crazy. A lot of these games are on the edge, and sometimes, like the last couple, they lose those games.
We might not like hearing it all, when Greg Wyshynski references the shooting percentage and the save percentage, which is what PDO is. But it's true. Like, they are, the goals saved above expected. Lyon is among the league leaders, and that's not something you would have seen coming. So it's kind of like a bolt of lightning, into your team, for a season. And Luukkonen has, had a couple of games here that have hurt those numbers, but he's been in the top 10 in that metric all year too,
right,
along with Lyon. So their tandem has been excellent at saving more goals than they should. That's what that is.
So tell me how that has anything to do with coaching.
Right.
Maybe a little.
Their shooting percentage to me, like they're not a team that just shoots pucks to the they're not a pucks to the net team. So they're selective, and they do have a good shooting percentage, but they're also selective. And I think that might mitigate that being fluky. We'll see, I guess. Maybe the playoffs will tell us whether or not, Last night, I heard Paul this morning say, well, hit a couple of posts. Well, yeah. I mean, teams hit posts, that is puck luck to an extent, right? I mean, a half an inch or whatever the other way, and you've got a bar down and in on Tuck's shorthanded try early in the game. Same for Krebs. But you can't to me go there. Like if you're going to accept that there is some luck involved, like that's going to happen to you. So the thing about the Cooper thing mostly to me is I think when you don't have, if there's not someone else presenting themselves as like one of the stories of the year in the league, which I think is what the Sabres have been here.
Easily. Right.
If that isn't happening, and so you're like, well, could I give it to the team that has the best record, Colorado? Or can I look around and find a guy that's doing a good job, a division-leading type team, which, Tampa is close enough for this. They still could win the division. They still have 2 games in hand and are only 3 points back now. Then I think you can get to like, we should appreciate John Cooper and the job he's done all these years because we don't have a better idea. To me, Lindy is clearly, whether it's a flawed process or not, because it does always go the way you're describing. But that doesn't mean it shouldn't this year, right? Just because John Cooper, like someone decided before the Sabres got hot that maybe it's time for John Cooper to win the Jack Adams. That's not a good process either. So,
well, he might be. This is what I sort of get mad at, and I don't even know if I'm right here, if this is fair. But he's been around for so long. That's the point. Canadian Olympic team. Maybe he's everybody's friend in the media. And maybe, I don't know if Lindy isn't.
Yeah.
But Cooper might have this sort of personality that he might have a machine working for him that gets the work. Why do we keep hearing this point?
It works on me. I like him. I've liked him for years. It's, news conferences, even during in-game interviews, like I feel like he's as personable as a head coach in any sport really can be.
Good face, good name.
I think that helps. Sure. And
good face, good name.
Good team.
Good team, but good face, good name. And by the way, the team that leads the NHL this year in PDO is Tampa Bay. They're tops in shooting percentage and close enough in save percentage. Very close to the Sabres. Sabres are 5th. All right.
But that's not fluky because they have Vasilevsky and
right.
and a great bunch of players.
Right.
At least more well-known players. It's Kucherov largely.
I don't know who should win, really. I mean, Ruff's a fine choice. Maybe Cooper is okay. I don't know. Is there a team? There's not a team so down. Some of the teams in the Pacific Division are so low on this list, but even though they're in playoff positions, they don't have the points. They're just sort of in playoff spots. So I wouldn't want to do that. I'm not sure if Sam Panayotovich is necessarily the authority on who wins the Jack Adams, but he did say a couple of weeks ago it's one or the other. Ruff or Cooper.
Yeah.
I think I'd probably agree with that. Tampa home to Seattle tonight. Probably a pretty good favorite.
I would expect. I've not looked yet, but yeah, they probably really healthy. Yeah.
Red Sox Reds coming up. You got to be pumped.
Oh, yeah.
Half an hour?
Yeah, you asked me who's starting the opener, and I didn't even know. That's how dialed in I am.
You would have gotten there.
Nah.
Crochet's your number one. He's your opening
that
day.
makes sense.
Easily opening day guy.
Yeah.
Watching the Mets today on, what is this? Peacock.
I guess.
It's on NBC. The Met Pirate baseball opener is on NBC right now. I miss that news.
Yeah, me too.
NBC getting back in the baseball business. I'm here for it. I
Sure.
Even though Fubo doesn't have NBC. Why do I have Fubo? Just for the Sabres?
For the Sabres.
How did I get trapped into that?
I don't know.
I can't watch the Food Network, and I can't watch NBC programming. I can't watch the Premier League. There are like 6 things I like to watch.
Yeah.
And they have half of them, at least.
I agree.
And I'm dead on all of it. That's never changing.
And
SNY I wanted. That's not there.
The video, it's terrible. The picture, I have it only for the Sabres games, right? That aren't on TNT. Do you know which picture looks the worst? Like if I'm watching, if I got hockey on 3 different things, right? TNT, ESPN Plus, and Fubo. Guess where the worst picture is going to be? Fubo. 100 times out of 100. It's not even close. I get an Amazon Prime feed on ESPN Plus, like a Monday night Canadian special, and it looks like it's fake. It's so bright. I can't even believe it. And I'm watching this game on a service that I hate. The picture's terrible, and the only reason I have the service is for that picture. It's the worst.
Well, Peacock is pretty.
Yes. The video is fantastic on Peacock.
This game's been something. Paul Skeens didn't get out of the first inning. Carson Benj was on our show. Well, not really. He was mentioned on our show earlier this week. Has just homered in his major league debut. So it's Mets over the Pirates 10-5 in the 6th. This is not going to set the land speed record for a baseball game, but that's okay. Lots has happened in this game. 10-5 Mets in the 6th. I don't think we'll need the bottom of the 9th. So that'll truncate the game a little bit.
It's trending that way, yeah. Looks like a nice, really nice day and a healthy crowd at Citi Field.
Oh, my gosh.
It looks packed.
Where
would you rather be than there right now?
I don't know.
It's beautiful right now.
I was jealous watching this game, the setup, the lineups, introductions, and everything. I made a note of it to mention I've never been to an opener, a major league opener, and I kind of wish I had done that. And I think the Mets are as good a choice as anybody. They kill it on opening day. They have easily the best record in baseball in openers. And when I was a Mets fan, that was always a thing that I walked around knowing. Like the Mets never lose the opener. And so far, that looks like that's going to happen today, too. Big lead on the Pirates. And it does look like it's a great day there.
Yep.
Sunny. Sal Capaccio coming up at 4. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. This is WGR.
Hey, it's Bulldog here for research.
Sal Capaccio coming up in about 15 minutes, maybe a little bit less. One of those bet online emails today. Which team people in each state are predicting to win the World Series? Now, let me say first, I read these emails all the time. I think they're interesting for content sometimes. This one is like, we have culled millions of tweets, and it's basically people tweeting things like, say, the Dodgers. The Dodgers are winning the World Series, would be one tweet. Dodgers are going to do it. Who are these people that are tweeting those kinds of tweets?
Magic Johnson.
Other than Magic Johnson, could you possibly be friends with somebody that would tweet, Dodgers are going to win the World Series? I mean, of course not. We need to rein in, as we've known for years, we need to rein in Twitter from, how could there be millions of these? But there are, they say, and 49 states out of 50 by this process have picked the Dodgers to win the World Series. One did not. One state. One state went in a different direction.
Rhode Island.
New York.
New York was my first thought, and then I just thought, I don't know.
Too obvious?
Yeah, so I thought Rhode Island, like some little pocket of New England is on the Red
New
Sox.
York is predicting the Red Sox will win the World Series.
Really?
No, the Yankees.
Okay.
The Yankees.
You got me there.
People tweeting things probably like, Yankees are going to win the World Series.
Yeah.
Hashtag Yankees. At Yankees. Just come on. Just quit the game. I say.
Did you look in on that? No, you were at the hockey game. Did you see?
I did not.
You didn't? Yeah, I didn't either. I honestly forgot. I forgot all about it. Until I forgot all about it. And it could have been on anywhere. It's not that it was on Netflix that made me forget it, right? I mean, the hockey game's on the way my app works. I mean, I don't get to a guide when I turn my TV off. Boston scores. I'm like, okay, I'm out. Off. Goodbye. So it's not like I would have been reminded if it had been on some other carrier. But it wasn't until this morning when I saw people reacting to the Netflix broadcast. I'm like, oh,
negatively mostly.
Mostly, yes. I'm like, oh yeah, there was a game. There was a game last night.
Yeah, I told you I heard a little bit of the end. I heard the end on the radio.
Right.
The Giants broadcast.
Yeah.
Because they were insistent on making sure you knew that tomorrow is opening day, because that last night's game was opening night. And they both announcers, I mean, Miller's a legend, but you can tell how they're reading it. Both announcers said the same phrase. Tickets are going to go sooner rather than later. Whatever that means. You mean soon, or you mean like when? What does that ever mean? The game is Friday. You've had 8 months to buy tickets.
Right.
They're going to go, guys.
If they haven't gone yet.
Sooner rather than later.
Be a rush in the next
literally the next
hours.
day.
Yeah.
You might want to maybe
get on that.
Push that a little harder. I don't know. But they're not gone yet. Good seats, though, Bulldog. They said good seats.
Oh.
One of my favorite baseball memories is waking up in the morning on Grand Island with my wife, getting on a plane, and sitting in the Giant Stadium in time for the bottom of the first. We didn't make the top of the first. Probably through Chicago and then San Francisco, and that's a ways away from downtown. So we didn't run. There was no running.
Mm-hmm.
We parked. We got to our seats in the upper deck, right field foul pole by the bottom of the first. Great thing to know you can do in life. Sal Capaccio next. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, WGR.
Night for the Buffalo Sabres, though they did hold practice earlier this afternoon, and Noah Ostlund was not present as he's getting evaluated for an upper body injury. And the Sabres Injury Report, it is brought to you by Hamburg Overhead Door. Is your garage door injured? Call the experts at Hamburg Overhead Door to get your door healthy again. Sabres, though, are back in game action tomorrow when they host Detroit. And as for the rest of the league, 13 total games tonight. Some notable matchups include Montreal hosting Columbus. Dallas is at the Islanders. The Sens are hosting the Penguins. In a keynote for Ottawa, Thomas Chabot is out 6 to 8 weeks with a broken forearm. And then the Kraken, they are in Florida to take on Tampa. All of these games get underway at 7. Over in Major League Baseball, it is kind of opening day. The Mets are up on the Pirates 11-5 in the 7th. The big news from that game, Paul Skeens doesn't even make it through the first inning after giving up 4 hits, 2 walks, and 5 earned runs. The Blue Jays are going to get their season underway tomorrow at home versus the Athletics. The Bisons will also begin their season tomorrow, also at home, when they take on Scranton. And then in the NCAA tournament, it gets back underway tonight. Texas versus Purdue just after 7 o'clock, and Arizona versus Arkansas following that will be right here on WGR with coverage beginning at 7. And then the 2 other games are Iowa-Nebraska at 7:30, then Illinois versus Houston immediately following that. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for West New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
Just scrolling through Sal's Twitter, which I'll sometimes do, and if I'm worried about, like, is there something obvious that I've missed, some big story? I don't want to go like 20 minutes with Sal and not bring up something huge, right, that I didn't hear about. And he has a tweet from yesterday about how the Seahawks are offering fans, season ticket holders, who went to their games as opposed to selling tickets. More often than not, I guess. They're offering not just season ticket holders at all, but season ticket holders who went to games a chance to move to better seats. Something,
All right.
we're giving you this because you actually showed up. I don't know what I think about that. I guess I like it, but what part of the pact is that you have to go to the game if I'm invested? I see why the Seahawks want, their fans, like there's a better chance, not necessarily, but
Because that's become a thing there. Like that stadium has become less and less intimidating over the years. More visiting fans.
Sal is with us. You shared this story yesterday, Sal. What do you think about this?
So at first blush, I thought this is a pretty cool concept because I'm thinking about the Sabres here and how other fans come in and Sabres fans sell their tickets, and we have this debate all the time, and they're probably going to geofence the ticketing in some capacity for the playoffs and whatever. So I ran across this, and the person who put it out does a really good job. He's actually one of these like independent type of, he created his own content creator, right? For the Seattle Seahawks. And I met him out at the combine when I was out there. And he writes that he shares the email basically. This is Brian Nemhauser's his name. I'm sorry, Brian Nemhauser. And it says, thanks for your attendance. Thanks for your high attendance during the 25 season. We're excited to offer you a special 2026 seat relocation opportunity with early access. And the concept is because you didn't sell your tickets a lot or at all, you get this. The issue is, how do they know? So, like, what if I transfer my ticket? I know that they can track tickets, like the Sabres, the Bills, the Seahawks, whoever, can track tickets online, who's selling, who is transferring. What if I just transfer my ticket to my wife? Like, we're season ticket holders, right? Like, I don't know. Like, that, I just think it brings in a whole set of how is this happening? If you look at the replies to his tweet, there are people going, dude, I went to every game. I did not get this email. So I don't know what happens here.
I want to know up front. Like, if there's a standard where I have to go to 6 games or something myself with my name on it, then okay, tell me. So there's that aspect of it. I don't know. Who's to say that people who own season tickets, you don't really own them anymore. They never call you a season ticket holder. They always call you a season ticket member now. It's their stuff. They don't want you to notice, but the verbiage has changed. But say a broker owns or has season tickets to the Seahawks or the Bills, and they never go to games because their business is reselling them. That doesn't mean that they're a fan in the first place or not one or anything like that. I mean, I was a Sabres season ticket holder for almost 20 years, and I sold seats. I don't know. Just tell me up front. I guess that's all I really want to. I don't want to complain about this too much. It just feels a little bit not transparent enough. Part of the responsibility of having season tickets is that you actually have to go in this modern world. I don't know. I don't like how it tastes, this one, but interesting to find out about it.
Yeah, me too.
You've got some, is it news? Do you want to call it news? Like sort of a new detail on what might be a topic next week?
Yeah, I mean, there's just all these little things that are happening with the NFL owners meetings as of every year. And what happened was the NFL, a few things happened over the last few days that will be discussed and expanded upon next week, obviously, out in Phoenix. And what happened was there was a video conference, and it was during Extra Point Show, so I couldn't join. So I went back and rewatched it. Excuse me. And I learned through the NFL and the people talking, Rich McKay and Competition Committee, a couple of little things. Like, so they really, really, really track minute details, like scoring per game. Like scoring per game, points per game this year, if I remember the numbers, up like a half a point than normal. And they're good with that. They're like, yep, 46 points a game maybe, which is normally 45 or 45 and a half, like totally good. There's questions about the kickoff returns, and that's still obviously an evolving play. And the number of yards. What's interesting was only like one kick return for a touchdown last year, or maybe a couple, very few, but a lot more punt returns for touchdowns last year. And there's questions about, okay, like, what do we like? What do we not like? And they like the big plays and things like that. One of them is Rich McKay said, and I know it sounds super like minute, but he said plays were down like 3 or 4 plays a game or something like that, like the numbers. Total overall offensive plays. And one of the ways they want to get the number back, just those few plays, is when a guy goes out of bounds, they're going to make sure, like in a normal situation, the clock restarts, right? Unless you're under 4 minutes in this, of the game or 2 minutes of the first half. Guy goes out of bounds. The play clock starts immediately. The game clock doesn't start immediately. They're supposed to wait 7 seconds. And apparently that hasn't been happening. So they want to make sure, kind of enforce and be more diligent about, hey, guy goes out of bounds. Play clock starts at 45, or 40, excuse me. Do not start the game clock until there's 33 seconds left on that.
So I guess I need a third clock.
Right. So they exactly. So they think that they will get, like, I'm not kidding you guys. He said like 2 or 3 more plays in a game. Like that could matter.
I need a third clock for the 7 seconds.
Yes.
At least that the clock operator. And of course, there would never in an NFL game be, you didn't wait 7 seconds. There would never be that.
Right.
That some, team employee is managing that.
I could get Skyref to rule on that. That would be pretty ideal.
I'm just drowning over here.
My first thought, Sal, I didn't know this little nuance like you're saying about the, waiting until the clock, restarts, the game clock restarts. My first thought was, is that because teams are running more? Because running does, that slows the game down. It runs clock more, and I wonder if there's been any study on that. And I'm not even sure. We live here in a place where the Bills have run the ball more the last few years, and I believe that that's a league-wide trend. But I haven't seen numbers. That it's
right.
But that could be a way that you lose some plays. Is if teams are running it more. It's just
it's also kickoffs, I think, because you're starting from farther up the field most of the time,
right,
on
that's
average.
Right. Yep.
So, and you have kickers who can hit from 60, so you don't have to.
And it's also the number kickoffs, Mike, because it takes longer for a kick return now. Right, you're getting the ball. You're getting more kick returns. The clock starts when the guy gets the ball, so therefore there's more time running off the clock when there's actually kick returns as opposed to touchbacks where there isn't as much time running off the clock. So that's part of it as well. Yeah, in fact, he'd also said there were 73 games last year that were decided by 3 or fewer points, which the league loves because they said that tied a record. Now, there was an acknowledgement that there's an extra game now compared to years past, right? We've been playing the 17th game for, 5 years or so, I think. But 73 games decided by 3 points or less, and the league is loving that, right? That's the ultimate parity of what they're looking for.
Mm-hmm. So there's this. We have a couple of also less exciting, much less exciting rules stuff to figure out next week. How far in advance you can trade your draft picks, how many phone calls you're allowed to make to UFAs. I mean, these are the headliners, right? We've done enough, Sal, you think? I mean, do you think this is the case, and do you agree? Like, that we've done enough with the kickoff changes that we're kind of going to stand pat for a little bit?
For now. Well, there was something that was going to be tweaked in that,
zone.
right? Yeah, the setup zone.
I forgot.
Remember, I read that tweet from Schefter, and they were like, I didn't know what any of it really meant, but I read it.
Oh, my gosh. I mean, the setup zone is a big deal because it's basically, you guys see sometimes there's a flag and they go illegal formation on the kickoff team, right? Something like that. The kick return team. Like, there are only a certain number of players that could be in certain spots on the kickoff, and they're going to kind of massage that a little bit for, I guess both for safety and how many players are on one side of the hash versus the other, things like that. So, yes, they are going to go through that. I suspect over the next several years, we're going to get a lot of this stuff with the special teams because everything's evolving. The other one is, remember, guys, teams took advantage of that loophole last year of, if I just kick it out of bounds, it's not a big deal, right? Like, I can just kick the ball out of bounds now. And the other team starts, now you can't do that now. So now I think eliminate the incentive to intentionally kick the ball out of bounds when kicking off from the 50-yard line. Because if you have a penalty that puts the ball at the 50-yard line, I think I have to read through this now where the other team would start it.
From that
Thank
spot,
you.
Right.
Yes, 25 yards.
The Bills did it in a game. I don't remember which game, but it happened in a Bills game this year.
That's right. So they're going to try and kind of take care of that a little bit. Touches the ground. It says the dead ball spot is the 35-yard line if without first touching the landing zone, the kickoff. So 35-yard line, it looks like where that they would start off in that situation. So that's another thing. Yeah, so the draft pick stuff is interesting because who proposed it? Cleveland, right? And you guys saw what happened today with Cleveland, right? The report that they adjusted Myles Garrett's contract a little bit.
Yeah.
And this was some sort of deal where this is not like a typical restructure that teams always do just to kind of, help out the cap. This was more of a, hey, let's just kind of push a little money later in the year to make it more manageable to trade him. And now there's a lot of scuttlebutt today that, like, and Adam Schefter said, they're not trading him, but it certainly is interesting to me that the team that proposed this rule to trade draft picks 5 years in the future, the best player in the league that plays, defensive end, they suddenly made it more palatable to trade him.
Yeah, the way I read that story is Garrett doesn't get any more money any sooner, and the team doesn't benefit at all salary cap-wise, which leaves you at, well, then why do it? Like, what's the point? The player had to be agreeable to it, but he doesn't gain anything from it, nor does the team, other than this caveat that, like, well, we can unload him now, and this really buffers the dead money.
Yeah, that's right. So I wonder what there is. And what's interesting to me about this proposal is I like look at it from, the league, what they think. And Rich McKay was specifically asked on this conference call, like, what is the competition committee's stance? And he is always, I don't give the stance of the committee. The committee has a stance, we don't give it. But you'll kind of find out next week what our stance is. And they said they looked at other leagues, and he said, well, we'll go through it, and you'll know, like, where we stand. And I kind of get the feeling like they don't like it. Like, just kind of the way he was talking, that the competition committee doesn't like this particular stance or rules proposal.
The 5 years of draft picks.
The 5 years, yeah. But it's not up to them. Every year when I go to the owners' meetings, we hear from Rich McKay and the competition committee. We hear from Roger Goodell. And I try to think of something like, what's something that, okay, this is my one chance, right, to ask something that I'm thinking about. A couple years ago, I asked Roger Goodell at the owners' meetings, like, there's some rumors that you could move championship games to neutral sites. Remember that whole thing with the Bills and the Bengals and that one year and everything was going on? And there was maybe they could move it to a neutral site this year. And somebody said, well, I think they could actually do that in the future. So I asked Roger Goodell that question. I'm like, hey, like, what is this something you would consider? And he's like, that's not something we've ever really talked about, to be honest with you. We don't want neutral site championship games. The one for me for this year, as I listen to Rich McKay talk about this, I'm reading this story about Adam Silver and the NBA and tanking. I want to ask them what they think about it. Like, is this a problem in the NFL? Do you think you need to go to a draft lottery? It's not as pervasive. It's not as easy. We know that. But it is kind of a bit of a trend here to start thinking about now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, with these kickoffs, too, like, have they ever considered 40-foot bumpers like bowling has for the sidelines, and the ball kicked off the bumper, and then you have to return? Probably not, but yeah. All right, sorry.
Are you relieved to have the opportunity to come up for air after arguing with people for 2 or 3 off seasons about the tush push? So.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. I'm actually really intrigued that there's nothing at all on the proposals about it this year.
Right, because everything
did.
I still am reading. Like, it's not on the agenda, but there are teams that have very strong feelings about it still, which is just kind of weird to me.
Right, and McKay touched on this on the conference call, and what he said was he still kind of left it in the window for the pushing the runner in the open field and, you know, where that could go, and there are some thoughts about that, and I feel strongly about that. Like, I just don't think that you should be able to push runners forward. I think, you know, when you're out in the open field, the 30-yard line, I'm basically against the tush push. I am, because I just think part of the spirit of football for me has always been aiding the runner. That's an aiding the runner penalty. You shouldn't be able to do it. Pulling the runner forward is even worse, and that's kind of been a little bit addressed, but now it's not anymore, and I don't know. So he was asked specifically by Ian Rappaport. Ian Rappaport's on this call, and he says, do you think that that's kind of ended the debate now? Is this the end of the debate? There's nothing on the tush push this year. And McKay's response was, no, I wouldn't say that. It's just not on. He goes, but let's remember, it actually never came up for rule vote last year. And I'm like, I guess that's right. Like, there was talk about it, but I don't think they ever voted on it last year.
It's not on the table this year because Philadelphia wasn't that good at it. And they didn't win the Super Bowl. And they didn't beat a Green Bay team in the playoffs using it to have Green Bay propose it at the rules meetings like the Browns and the draft thing. So, you know, it's got to be has to have been a problem for us.
Yeah.
For our, you know, for us to nominate it, propose it at the
maybe
meetings.
The Bills aren't all that fired up about it anymore because that was Sean McDermott's thing, maybe, right? Like he was one of the faces of that debate, and he's obviously no longer, you know, employed by the Bills.
And he had a tough time figuring out how to
you're right.
sell it because he talked about injuries, and then nobody sort of noticed there being any injuries on the play.
Right.
All right.
Real quick, and then the other thing they'll talk about a lot, I'm sure, is just this, you know, how a little bit of the scheduling stuff, and you guys saw the news. The Melbourne game will be played at 10:15 a.m. in Melbourne on a Friday morning when they play there next year on a Friday morning on what? So it should be a Thursday night here.
Yes.
So it'll be Thursday night our time, 8:15. Thursday 5:15 in the two team cities who are playing, which are LA Rams and San Francisco, 10:35 a.m. or 15:35. Sorry, I keep saying that. 10:35 and 5:35 and 8:35. 10:35 a.m. Friday in Melbourne is when they're going to play.
Think first match of the morning, which here is the night in the Australian Open. You turn on ESPN for the Australian Open at like 8:30 or 9 o'clock. They're playing. Same kind of time situation there.
And the Seahawks will open the season the night before that.
Wednesday, right?
Against
who knows? And I think we've talked about it just so people understand what's going on. There was a broadcasting act back in the 1960s that was enacted by federal law that says the NFL cannot play on Friday nights starting the second Friday of September. Well, this year, week 1 falls on the second week of September. And the reason the law exists is to give high school football that night so the NFL doesn't overshadow it and people can go to games and support their local communities. So the NFL has to adhere to this rule and say we can't play on Friday night week 1 because that's actually the second Friday of September this year.
Who do you want in Seattle since we're here? That opener, Dallas, Chicago, or New England? I think that's probably it. I doubt it'd be Kansas City or the Chargers. I mean, that's not bad. Not the Giants, not the Cardinals, and the Rams and 49ers are already booked.
I prefer the Chicago Bears out of that list. I've seen Dallas play like early games, primetime games a lot. It's Dallas. I don't know. I don't need to see that all the time. I'm interested in Chicago, the season they had, the bounce back, and I have no interest at all in seeing a rematch of the Super Bowl on opening night.
Same, totally.
I don't have a real strong opinion about what I would rather see, but I would bet on it being New England. That's my prediction is that it will be New England. And I don't, I know the Super Bowl was gross, but I don't know. Give them another chance. It's New England. Like they've had an off season. They've got a famous quarterback. They're expected to be good. Like I think they meet the criteria. Just because they lost the Super Bowl badly, I don't feel like eliminates them.
But don't the Bears check, as you would put it, all the boxes?
Yeah, they do.
Though?
They do. Yeah.
Big market, fun team, won a playoff game themselves. I think there's a lot about them. For once, the Bears.
Yeah,
are
no, they're
fun.
They're a fine. All three of those teams are. Dallas for their reasons. Chicago certainly meets the criteria. I don't know. I would bet on New England.
We have news on the Bills as I'm talking with you guys, just so you know. The Bills have signed 3 players, including a wide receiver who had been on the team before, Trent Sherfield. So Trent Sherfield has returned to the Bills. Lloyd Cushenberry III, a center, they've signed, and the interior swingman, Austin Corbett, who came in for a visit this past week. They've all signed with the Bills. This is just happening within the past couple minutes while I've been on with you guys.
Sherfield is back. The return. Was he on was he on Jeremy's roster of Bills that left and have returned now?
I don't know
who
if
gets
he was.
the points?
I don't know if anyone had him. Yeah, no, the morning show has this thing.
That's gettable.
Yeah, it is.
That was gettable.
It is. And he was tweeting about that today, I think, somebody
tweeted
at him because all the defensive free guy, Curtis Samuel too, a bunch of free agents that have left the Bills have not signed it.
Right. Last week we were talking, maybe Sal was with us, I think he was, and we counted like 13 defensive players that were still UFAs that were on last year's Bills. So, Sherfield.
So the 2 linemen, do you think are just competition for Alec Anderson, depth, that kind of thing? Just to not just assume we've got a guy that's been a backup and a bit player is going to win the job. Let's make sure he has to actually win the job.
Yeah, agreed, and 100%. I look at the future of what's happening. Do they have plans? If you're going to try to recoup a draft pick, could you do that with Cedric Van Pran-Granger? He has 2 years left on his deal. There's no path for him to start. He doesn't play guard, right? So, what do you do there? They've offloaded and they've traded linemen before. These are veteran players who you bring in for competition. Corbett can play center and guard. He did both last year in Carolina. Cushenberry, veteran center, absolutely, I think. And that's where it gets me to SVPG, because now does that mean, what does that mean for him, right? Look, they're going to have to keep adding bodies. This time of year, as I always say, you got to bring 90 to camp. Currently on their roster, they only have 10 offensive linemen, I believe it is. So they're going to keep adding offensive linemen to their roster. So a couple more come in now. This also, in a way, you don't have to force your hand a little bit in the draft. Sure, if there's a guy there you love, but if you can sign a few free agents, before the draft, you kind of feel a little bit better about your depth, and then you don't feel like you're in a position where you have to make a move in the draft to get a guy because you're depleted at that spot. You kind of let the draft come to you, so to speak, if you do that.
Cushenberry started 15 games last year for Tennessee, started all 17 games 2 years prior at center for Denver. Corbett, 11 starts last year for Carolina.
And Sherfield is 6'1", 206, I see. Did he play special teams when he was here before? So I'm wondering if he could be like Tyrell Shavers insurance.
I'm going to look at that for you right now, actually, if I can do that. I can try and figure that out for you right now, because I don't have that. I don't know. I don't think he played a ton of special teams.
Okay.
Let's go. Oh, here we go. Snap counts. Let's see.
Yeah,
I guess he did. When he was in Buffalo, 35% special teams. So he did. Yeah, he was up there. 35% of special teams. So I think that could be a replacement in that regard, yes.
All right, so I don't have to necessarily ask you what is next for the Bills, as I was planning to do, because this is next for the Bills.
Next, right.
As we speak here.
But
Very
something
good.
else will now be next.
That's right.
Next will be, yeah. So next week, if we don't talk tomorrow, if anything happens, then I'll talk with you guys Monday from Arizona as things get rolling. They usually, I don't know why they changed it up this year, But this year, the NFC coaches are going first. We will hear from the NFC coaches, I think, on Monday and the AFC on Tuesday. I think I got that right this year. And the coaches' breakfast where there's 16 tables and you just kind of go to that table where the little flag is of your coach and you can sit there and talk and then you can walk over to another table and talk and all that. Yeah.
What a cool moment for a first-time head coach to be a part of all that. And the picture. Don't miss the picture, Joe Brady.
Oh, yeah.
Picture,
the annual picture where Mike is going to dissect everything about it, which I love, by the way. I'm not making fun. I love it because, like, I listened to you to learn who wasn't in the picture, basically.
Who wasn't in the picture and why. Find a fountain and line up and let's do this. Everybody. Let's get everybody this year.
And Andy Reid in shorts.
And a Hawaiian shirt. All right. Thank you, Sal. If we don't talk, have a great trip out.
All right, guys, you got it.
That's our Sal Capaccio on the West Her Hotline. His appearances are brought to you by New York's only outlet liquor. When you need to stock up, it's the place to buy a case. What's your outlet?
Dead silence on the bumpers? Does it have to be 40 feet?
I'm embarrassed for
10
you that
feet.
you're even revisiting it after how it went over.
I had to.
I mean,
it was too dead.
In a certain way,
I didn't even get a noise.
I'm impressed in a certain way that you.
When it completely bombs, you got to go back to it. Yeah. Not a noise, almost like maybe I wasn't being heard. So I had to just, look how stupid that was. I'm going to repeat it. Bumpers. Bumpers. You were a bumpers guy ever? Your parents are bowlers. I bet never ever with the bumpers.
No.
You were probably never allowed to have the bumpers.
When I bowled with my parents, the bumpers weren't invented.
Okay, well, then there was no decision to make.
I don't think, but no, they would not have that.
No, we will not. I respect that.
Yeah. I think now, I don't know. I have like adult nieces and my kids are adults too. We've all been bowling with them, I'm sure. I wonder if when my kids were little, my parents might have let them use the bumpers.
Oh, well.
It's possible.
That's grandparents for you.
Yeah. My dad would have hated it.
Whatever you want.
He would have been muttering the whole time under his bumpers.
You're out there trying to teach lessons.
Never going to learn.
Mom and dad are out there just fighting against you. You don't even know it. They're
You're right.
Giving the kids anything they want.
They are in their early 90s, and they will be bowling tomorrow. They bowl every Friday.
The Sabres are sending Zach Metza to Rochester. Loaning is the official word for it. We'll talk about that. Paul Hamilton may be able to join us later. He is in for 5.
Yep.
That'll be good. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog at 803-0550. This is WGR.
to stop me on the street last night. Said everything's alright. Roller coaster, make it through the day upright. It seems your meal ticket is gone, but life goes on. I could never imagine something better. Yeah, right. Now you're cooking on high heat in the middle of the street. Roller coaster, take me to a better time. Let's go. All sing your high line with the roller coaster of life. Yeah. It's time to all choose your timeline on the roller coaster of life. Oh, you seem to easily forget how to place your bet. When everyday life gets you down, you gotta steal the crown. Got to own it. Don't bitch and moan about it, please. God forbid you scrape your knees, and it's nothing to sneeze.
Roster moves for the Buffalo Sabres, as the team did announce they are sending Zach Metza to Rochester. And then earlier this morning, Noah Ostlund not at practice today. He is getting evaluated for an upper body injury. The Sabres Injury Report, it is brought to you by Hamburg Overhead Door. Is your garage door injured? Call the experts at Hamburg Overhead Door to get your door healthy again. We'll get the latest on the Sabres when Paul Hamilton joins the show in just about a half hour at 5. And the Sabres are next in game action tomorrow when they host Detroit. Around the rest of the NHL, we do have 13 total games. Some notable ones include Montreal hosting Columbus, Dallas is at the Islanders, and the Sens, they are hosting the Penguins. The keynote, though, for Ottawa, Thomas Chabot out 6 to 8 weeks with a broken forearm, while the Kraken, they are in Florida versus Tampa. All those games will get underway at 7. The Bills made some roster announcements today. 3 players are signing one-year deals, and those are guard Austin Corbett, center Lloyd Cushenberry, and wide receiver Trent Sherfield. And then in Major League Baseball, it's somewhat opening day, and the Mets are 1-0 to start the year as they take down the Pirates 11-7. The big news from this game was very early. Paul Skeens does not even make it out of the first inning after giving up 4 hits, 2 walks, and 5 earned runs. The Blue Jays, they will get their season started tomorrow at home versus the Athletics. The Bisons will also start their season tomorrow at home. They will host Scranton. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for West New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
You know, watching his game, his breakout plays are right on cue a lot of times. He understands, you know, where the puck's got to go. I think sometimes it's a safer play. Sometimes it's a real option to get the puck into the middle and make a nice play up the middle. But yeah, I'm well aware of all of the stats. Coaches have even talked about it. We have discussions on our group, and can we change a piece with all the D-man we have? But some of his stats are just incredible.
Lindy Ruff the other day on Zach Metza. First prize, a Cadillac Eldorado. Second prize, a set of steak knives. Third prize is you're going to Rochester. Sorry, kid.
Yep.
You have a theory?
My guess would be that there's news today about Ostlund being injured. We don't know how seriously, but he missed practice and was being evaluated for an upper body injury. I didn't see, and I haven't seen any footage of, like, you know, where we think it happened, what it might be, that kind of thing. That often does happen. But I haven't seen any of that. So I don't know what we're talking about, head injury, shoulder, whatever, with Ostlund. But if that is going to be a little bit of time, a week, maybe they want to make room for somebody. Greenway seems like he might be ready to go. So they might have needed a roster spot, and Metza is still someone who can go freely up and down. So from a convenience standpoint, but I'm totally cool with, like, you know, slow playing him. We got to see what Timmins gives us. Everything we talked about yesterday. Like they've got. I think Metza is in the lineup for Game 1 of the playoffs. Myself,
Still?
this sort of gets in the way of that. I'm not. I want to say I hope so, and that this is just for the time being because they needed a spot.
I want to say that.
But I don't know. Like everything we talked about yesterday was just they're going to try Timmins. I think they know what they have in Metsa. He can play with the big four if they need him. He can stabilize Stanley and be a good third pair guy. And I think he's in the lineup when they get to the playoffs. And now 24 hours later, he's sent down. I hope it's just, it's, convenient. You can go up and down freely, so we're going to use that on you.
I didn't notice an Ostlund injury, but I think I noticed at least one, even two Sabres players in the course of last night's game leave because they were cut on their face. I don't know exactly what happened to Byram. There was no penalty on either one. Byram left the ice, spiked his helmet down, and went down the tunnel in the first period. Came back at the end of the first period.
Okay.
Do you know that one?
I did not.
Okay.
I think they mentioned on the broadcast that he had left for some time but was back.
Something went wrong there. I think maybe he was clipped, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then Carrick got clipped.
Well, I didn't catch that.
Oh, yeah. His mouth was cut. Like he might have lost a tooth. I don't know.
Oh,
but
jeez.
in the second or third, that was, and he did not go down the tunnel. He took the backup goalie's seat and sat sort of like facing the other players on the bench, and they worked on him. And then he was right back out there.
I thought I watched every second of this game. I don't know how I would have missed
Maybe
that.
they didn't mention it.
It's possible that they didn't. I don't know.
It's hard. It's TNT.
Yeah.
If they don't tell you, it's hard to know that it happened.
Yeah.
You kind of need to see.
Right.
Somebody needs to show you.
Yeah.
On things like that.
Yeah.
There's no penalty on either one.
Right. Yeah, I didn't see anything with Carrick, and it's possible that I should give myself a pass because maybe it wasn't shown. I don't know.
Yeah, I would if I were you.
Yeah.
I wouldn't beat myself up over it.
Yeah.
I'm here. I was there. I saw it.
Good. Yeah, thank you.
I tried to be the person in my section that was paying attention.
That could be a challenge.
That's how I am. I'd like to be the one to pay attention. My daughter wasn't really watching too closely, and a lot of noise around me. So, boy, I mean, can I bring this up again? Unbelievable character. I don't want to sound like a snob here, because I feel like if you are at a game and you're super into it, there are boundaries, but that's fine. Like, hockey, sports needs fans like that. Mm-hmm. And so bring the energy. Bring all of it. Bring your voice, Like, I know that's not me. When Benson scored, it was me. When Zucker made it 3-2, it was me. Uh-huh. You heard me then.
Right.
But really, most of the time, it's sort of just watching it. Mm-hmm. And I'm not telling anybody that that's how it has to be. Like, you be you as a fan.
I'm fine with people being boisterous. Right. I'm very rarely going to be that person. But, I want that. Same. I endorse everything you just said.
Yes. I do think maybe this is just getting older. There should be common sense language limits that aren't really followed, especially when like a kid is sitting right in front of you or next to you.
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, I'm not the cops. But man, I tell you, this guy I drew last night next to me was unbelievable. I mean, he did get there with the language. He had enough that by the end of the night he was rolling. He's also one of these guys. He was a big guy. I never saw the armrest on my left the whole night. Like, I'm very careful about my space. I want to make sure, I'm in my space. This guy was not into that at all. He was into my space, too. I didn't take it as a compliment. And just, I mean, I tried to describe it to my wife. He was awesome, aggressive, super high energy, loud, unmissable. And okay. I mean, you get who you get.
Yep.
I mean, it's just fine because that's not me. So, okay. But there were definitely times I thought maybe he was pretty far gone when the Bruins scored in overtime and he got up and screamed thinking it was the Sabres who had scored.
I was going to say, this was a bad sign. Guy, right? You mentioned this earlier that the gentleman near you did not know that the Sabres had just lost the game.
For a split second, I thought maybe I was mistaken that there was a save. Right. Why are the Bruins pouring out onto the ice if that happened? I was confused for like a half second.
Yeah.
So anyway, fun night. It's great in there now. It is great in there now. You all know it if you're going at all or just watching. Even you can tell. It is like my son sat on the other side of the building. We were talking in the car about just like this is new to you guys.
Yeah.
And Dad is getting up and whooping after goals.
Right.
All right. You don't know this Dad.
Right. There's juice here that you just have not squeezed ever. Like it's just like
not in their lifetimes.
Right. So that's awesome. I did notice that you could tell there were some Bruins fans in the building on TV.
Yep.
I would say.
Yep.
But not annoyingly so, right? But I did notice
Sure.
I guess I would say more than I guess I was expecting. At least maybe they were just in the right spots for the TV cameras. I don't know, but I noticed them a couple of times during the game.
Again, that's one where, in our defense, we're selling those tickets a long time ago, maybe.
Yeah.
Just to save ourselves, because for so many years in a row, the end of the season is like negative EV. It's not even that the games don't matter. It's just that the feeling of misery compounds that, and it's just like, I don't even want to go. And you can't sell tickets those years for the end of the season.
Right.
So I think when it's Boston or Montreal, and that's kind of it. Well, Detroit could be this a little bit tomorrow too. But these are games when I had tickets that I could have sold in November, and this year would have still been, it would have felt like another one of those years.
It did to me, yeah.
Let me just try to salvage this, and if people want to plan out 4 months ahead and buy tickets, then okay, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
So I think maybe it would be different if 2 months went by and then you were faced with the same sort of decision. Maybe now you hold on to them. Detroit tomorrow, and then, I don't know, we talked about it, we ran it down yesterday. No one else on the home schedule is like a rival team that you expect big.
Islanders fans do not travel.
Islanders, Columbus.
not something you would really be thinking about.
Dallas is the last game.
Right.
A couple others in there. Who else is it? Do you know? I don't have it down
yet.
Well,
that Tampa game.
Tampa, of course.
Yeah.
That's right.
But the rest, I'm not positive.
There's one more that we didn't mention, and that is Seattle.
Okay.
On Saturday.
Right, 5:30, I think.
5:30 on Saturday.
Different time.
Yep. Paul will join us at 5. What does the Metsa move mean? Heading to Rochester. Interesting. The Sabres have all this depth on the blue line, and they're looks like trying to figure out the optimal set of combinations last night with Timmins, and maybe your theory holds water, adding a spot for Greenway, maybe needing a forward. Because there are, 3 defensemen?
Yeah.
Is there already an update?
Well, my theory takes a hit. Chad DeNoministis sent me a DM, and I appreciate this from Chad. There's no roster limits anymore, so they don't need to open up roster spots. So I don't know. Maybe that's just, we want you to keep playing, and we're going to try these other guys out for the time being.
Yep.
And boy, I hope they send him down there with, don't worry, you'll be back, because he should be in the lineup.
Paul's analysis coming up at 5. Lines open at 803-0550. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, WGR. Opening day, big fun. Wild and wacky Mets-Pirates opener. 11-7. The Mets, who almost always win opening day for some reason, take it. The Brewers over Sammy P's White Sox. 14-1 heading to the 8th. 14-1. I've heard better starts than that.
Tough one there. Sorry, you can get them tomorrow. Oh, wait, they probably don't play tomorrow. There's the day off probably, and then they'll play. No, I don't know what's going on.
The White Sox and Brewers, you're right, they don't.
Yeah.
Neither do the Mets. Yankees and Giants don't play today.
Right.
The Blue Jays don't open until tomorrow. They have no issues here.
I want to now. I complained like the old man that I am about this earlier in the show. I've hated this for years, where it's opening day, everybody plays, and then the next day there's a lot of teams that have days off. I imagine this is weather related in some cases. I don't know that San Francisco last night necessarily has to be worried about that, but in certain parts of the country, like this one anyway, or New York City, like let's give us a buffer in case opening day can't go off because of weather, or just maybe it's not going to be great out and let's not just jam games in.
Okay.
I can respect that, but it aggravates me.
The thing that bothers me more is that they don't play day games.
Right, there should be a
day
day game every day somewhere. Right.
Tomorrow's first game is at 4:30. That's also the Giants and Yankees in San Francisco. That's the first. That's the only day game tomorrow. There should be one every day for like a month.
But that's not on Netflix anymore. That was only last night.
I don't know.
That's over.
It's on Yes, apparently.
Okay. All right.
We get that. My head is spinning with all the. What do I need to know to find the Rockies game?
I read a story in The Athletic yesterday. I think it was Andrew Marchand. I think he covers media for The Athletic. And he laid out that for Yankees fans in the New York metropolitan area, I don't know what it would be like for people here, but in the greater New York area, you need to have, if you want to see all 162 games the Yankees play, you would need to have 10 different subscriptions, and it would cost around $900
a year. Not a month.
And that was with only allowing for if you wanted to see the Yankees on opening day, you could get Netflix for a month and then drop it. So it's not like a continued hit for Netflix. It was just the one month done, but still $900. I just see and 10 different venues.
I'm hearing you and thinking I might even already have that.
I right? I know. I mean, where what's possible? Apple, I have that. Prime, I have that. Netflix, I have that. HBO, I have that.
Fubo,
that's that or YouTube TV. They're pretty comparable.
5, Disney,
right? We have that.
6, Paramount,
ESPN Plus.
That's the bundle. Can I count 3? Can I count Hulu?
Yeah, right.
ESPN Plus and Disney. That's 8. Peacock.
10, 9.
Paramount. I don't have that one.
That's
where I draw the line, people.
Yeah.
Is Paramount.
I think we have something called Acorn in my house.
Acorn.
That's not for sports.
I hesitate to ask what it's for.
It's British crime dramas, I think.
Really?
Yeah. No,
Acorn.
Seriously, yes.
Wow. Let's ask Paul Hamilton about Acorn when he joins the show after the update. This is WGR.
The Buffalo Sabres announced some roster moves earlier this afternoon as the team is sending down Zach Metza to Rochester. And then earlier this morning, Noah Ostlund not at practice as he is getting evaluated for an upper body injury. In the Sabres injury report, it is brought to you by Hamburg Overhead Door. Is your garage door injured? Call the experts at Hamburg Overhead Door to get your door healthy again. We'll get the latest on the Sabres. Paul Hamilton joining the show next. Do stay tuned for that. And the Sabres are next in game action tomorrow when they host Detroit. Around the rest of the league, it's a very packed night. 13 total games, some notable ones to keep an eye on. Montreal hosts Columbus. Dallas is at the Islanders. The Sens are hosting the Penguins, and the keynote for Ottawa there. Thomas Chabot out 6 to 8 weeks with a broken forearm. And then the Kraken there in Florida versus Tampa Bay. All of those games will get underway at 7. The Bills also announced some roster moves as guard Austin Corbett, center Lloyd Cushenberry, and wide receiver Trent Sherfield have all signed one-year deals with the team. And over in Major League Baseball, it's kind of opening day and some scores around the league. The Mets took down the Pirates 11-7. Brewers up on the White Sox 14-1. That game is in the 8th, so still time for a comeback. And the Padres currently trail Detroit 6-0 in the 3rd. And the NCAA tournament, that gets back underway tonight. Texas versus Purdue just after 7. Arizona versus Arkansas is going to follow that game, and both will be right here on WGR with coverage beginning at 7. Then the other two games are Iowa versus Nebraska. That's at 7:30. And then Illinois versus Houston will follow that. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for West New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
You know, I got to say it. It's opening day. You're the starting pitcher at home, top of the first. You got to throw strike one.
Even just lay it in there.
You lay it in there. You got to throw strike one. The Mets pitcher did not do that today.
And how'd that work out?
Not great. I mean, they scored a bunch of runs for him, but he lost Cruz, the leadoff hitter, on a single, and then the next guy homered. So 2-0 Pittsburgh right away.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Mets got 5 back in the bottom of the first, so he was fine. But throw that strike one, man. Just, we're all here to partake, enjoy opening day. He's not going to swing. Right, Paul? Do we have Paul? No, not yet.
Are we all standing for like the first pitch of the season?
Mostly. I think mostly, yes.
So we're on our feet. We're ready for a moment. Let's deliver.
That's it.
Yeah, I don't need I don't need an 80-foot curveball.
Don't get cute.
That's not where you want to be.
I don't need an eephus pitch on the first pitch of the season.
Just groove one in there, buddy.
Anybody throwing that anymore? Have you seen an eephus today?
I have not.
I love the eephus pitch. I want to see it come back. Let's see it make a comeback this year. What does the data say? What do the analytics people say about the eephus? Is that sort of the dodo bird of pitches now? We're not going to...
I don't know.
It's just not worth it. Big lobby pitch, just like a softball pitch, the eephus. Only, I looked this up for some reason. I don't even know why. I know why. I was thinking card of the day, maybe.
I loved your card of the day today.
You did?
Oh.
Opening day.
I favored it.
Thank you.
Hearted it. Liked. Okay. It's because the heart, but that's not like, that's love.
Yeah.
Anyway, now I feel uncomfortable.
That's a touchy subject.
Anyway, yeah, no, man.
Hank Aaron.
It's one of my all-time favorites.
1974, card number 1, tops, after he had broken the home run record. It's interesting because that happened in 74, and that's the 74 set. So there's probably some story about that they sort of added the card late, did something, because usually everything would be about the previous year.
Right, that was April of 74?
Yes.
Right.
So I wanted to pick a card of the day for the opener, and you could pick almost anybody, right? Any baseball player. So I went looking whose birthday is today. And one Hall of Famer was born on this date, March 26th, Tom Glavine.
Okay.
Who turns 60. Then I thought, Maybe I have a hockey card of his. Maybe he had a hockey card because was he drafted?
He was drafted in the late rounds of the hockey draft. Yeah.
But he's too recent of a player for me to have like interesting cards of, so I just went with Hank Aaron. And you liked it. I'm glad to hear that.
I really did. Yes. That is interesting about it being the 74 card set and that having happened. I wonder how they pulled that off.
Just a late change or something to honor him. Card number 1. We're waiting on Paul, I think. It sounded like there are 2 playoff matchups, within the Eastern Conference tonight. Montreal Columbus.
Okay.
Is what?
Whoop, you okay over there?
When he talks, it's so loud. I just jump out of my chair. It's not anybody's fault. It's just.
That's crazy. I didn't hear him.
That's what happens when.
Okay. All right. Gotcha.
Montreal Columbus and.
I haven't looked at the schedule. Okay. I apologize. I'm a little shook.
Paul Hamilton on the West Her Hotline. Watch any baseball today, Paul, or last night? You were busy last night, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I was busy last night. I would have liked to watch the Yankee game, but it was over by the time I got home. So unfortunately, and they don't play tonight, and the Sabres play again tomorrow. So I won't see them. Although tomorrow, I think they're earlier.
Tomorrow's 4:30 afternoon, so you could catch it. Maybe catch the end when you get down to the arena and get settled for your pregame duties.
Yeah, possibly.
Today bossing you around.
Yes. Today we have the news that the Sabres are loaning Zach Metza to Rochester. Maybe you could even sort of detail what the words mean here, like loan, if that means something other than whatever the normal is.
Yeah, is that synonymous with sent down now, and it's just a gentler way to put it?
Yeah, they always say loan.
Yeah, okay.
It's always loan.
Yeah, they always say that.
What do you think they're up to?
Simply they have too many D. I mean, they got enough now. They wanted to see how Timmins played. Timmins, in my mind, played probably his best game as a Sabre coming back after 38 games. He was a good penalty killer, and they needed the penalty kill to settle down, which he did, but I wasn't especially enthralled with his 5-on-5 play before he got injured, but I thought he was excellent last night. I thought he played really well. Now, it's only a one-game type of a scenario, right, but they have 2 other right-shooting defensemen who are sitting. Neither one have been all that impressive in Michael Kesselring or Schenn. Kesselring, of course, is playing with an injury probably pretty much for the rest of the year. Again, I'm not down on him at all. I think he'll be fine once he's a healthy hockey player. I think he's a very good defenseman. And, I think fans will like him. It might even be next year or whatever, but once he plays as a healthy defenseman, I think he'll be fine.
So Metza being the odd man out, like we've gone, Paul, in the span of about 48 hours or maybe a little more than that, from like he deserves to be in the lineup. He's their 5th defenseman to he's the guy going to Rochester. I'm hoping that they send him down there with just go play 25 minutes and play the power play and help them out because he was the captain down there, right? So go stabilize, help them push for the playoffs, and you'll be back here. I don't know what the kind of time frame is because we were talking this through yesterday. I don't think you and I had time to get into it on pregame, but it makes sense to me. I feel like to put Timmins in and pull Metza out last night, you want to get Timmins some playing time. You want to see what you have in these guys should you need them. Should anyone in this D-corps get hurt? So let's see who works well with whom and all that kind of stuff. And I would expect maybe you even try the same thing with Kesselring again before you close the book on him entirely, maybe. But to have Metza go down is just kind of stark to me. I mean, I realize they have too many guys, but I think maybe, do we all share this opinion? They sent the best one of the bunch down to Rochester.
Yeah, but I think the penalty killing is where the penalty killing has not been as good since Timmins went down. I mean, they were number 1 and 2 in the league, and then Timmins went down, and they haven't been god awful. At times they have been, but it hasn't been the same. And for whatever reason, and Lindy Ruff really hasn't said a lot about it, they didn't want to try Metza and penalty kill. I think he'd be just fine. I don't see any problem in him killing penalties unless they don't think he can block shots, or I don't know exactly what the thinking is there. That really is the difference between him and Timmins. Timmins is a very, very good penalty killer, and their penalty kill was excellent while he was on it. and Metsä never got the chance.
Right.
So that would be where I'm just kind of shaking my head, but it's still a defenseman who's plus 20 and has not been on the ice for a goal against since October, and has only been on the ice for 2 goals against in his NHL career, which is 38 games. So, the results and the numbers speak for themselves. They activated Timmins yesterday, so they're not over the cap or anything like that. Not like Mets breaking them anyway.
Right.
They can have as many players as they want.
Right.
Now,
I realized, I made a mistake when this first broke while we were in the middle of a segment, and I made a mention of Oslin's hurt, maybe Greenway gets activated or someone else or whatever, and they need a spot. But our friend Chad DeDominicis corrected me right away. That's not the case anymore. And a few other people on Twitter have too. Thank you, all of you. Yeah, it's weird. Metsä, though, is the only one of those guys, the extra D, if you will, that can go up and down without waivers, right?
Yeah, and the thing is, too, if they need him, he's fine. They can bring him back.
Right.
I mean, if they want to go with Timmins and they just would rather he be down there playing, and if somebody in the top 6 gets hurt, it would only make sense that he's the guy to come back.
Right.
Shen and Kesselring just haven't worked out. So you could be looking at it that way too, is they've decided to go with Timmins because of the penalty killing, and if somebody gets hurt, they can bring him back.
And just to be clear, I'm correct about...
That's the whole point, isn't it? Your point is the whole point. Right? Isn't it? That he's the one who can go down without you don't lose him.
I just want to make sure that that's right. The other guys would have to clear waivers, obviously.
Yeah.
So you're not going to do that with any of those guys. So he's not in danger of being claimed or anything. So
I thought, Paul...
That makes sense.
I thought
when he's playing, too.
Right, of course.
As he's down there.
Yeah.
I thought listening to Ruff talk about Metsä earlier this week, he sounded like he had been converted. And you've been around for all of that, and you've talked us through it. How Lindy has sort of... I don't know if this is not it, but awakened to the reality that this guy he's not getting us beat. So eventually you got to, give into that. And he sounded like he had been, like a full convert into Metsä. Not that he had to be down on him prior, just like how he was talking. I got to think, unless there's some glaring mistake here, that he's back, whether there's an injury or not, eventually, that they would have him up here and in the lineup.
Right.
For
I still want to
games.
say he'll be in the lineup in Game 1 with how
I
he's
would
played.
hope.
But I don't know, and I'm a little shook by this move.
Their
now.
penalty killing is still 5th for the season, so I don't know how badly they need an upgrade.
Yeah, and the thing is, don't forget, too, Lindy Ruff has input. I think Lindy Ruff had a lot of input when Kevin Adams was here. I think that's changed. Lindy Ruff didn't send him down. Jarmo Kekalainen did. So whether they agree, I don't know. I have no idea. But it's not Lindy's choice. He can give his opinion all he wants, but it's Jarmo Kekalainen's choice. So maybe he's not sold. I don't know.
All right, fair enough.
Kekalainen has not spoken about it.
Yeah. I wanna not be, freaking out about Zach Metsä being sent down because we'll see what the big we don't know all the machinations and all the pieces on the board and all of it, what their motivations are. So I don't want to make too much out of it, which is why I'm trying to find a solution that makes sense to me for him to just go play there. We're going to see what these other guys can do, and there's no use you sitting here while we're doing that. Like I said earlier when it happened, I just hope he was sent down with we'll see you back in a few days, a few weeks, whatever it is, because I'd be stunned if something changed to the point where he's not a part of Lindy Ruff's decor, because Lindy does have the lineup, right? By taking Metsä out, that makes him maybe vulnerable to being sent down because they want him to play. I just hope it's temporary is all I'm saying. I'm saying a lot of words, so I just hope this is a temporary solution.
I doubt it. I think it's if there's an injury, you'll see him back. If not, he won't.
Wow.
There's no sense him sitting here. Or if Timmins was not a downgrade yesterday, but that was one game. He played very, very well, but that was one game, and you have a very good penalty killer. Will that continue? I have no idea, but they made a decision on one game hey, Timmins is going to be fine. He played really well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're good. You know, and if there's an injury, we can bring him back.
Yeah, I'm not thinking, Paul, about. I feel like I'm just like really belaboring this, but like, I'm not saying bring him back to sit here. I'm saying he comes back for the playoffs to play because he's one of their 6 best guys. That's what I hope happens here. And if it doesn't, then then Timmins better really blow our socks off blocking shots and killing penalties.
Absolutely. No, I mean Timmins has to play like he did last night.
Yeah.
If he doesn't, if he plays more like he did before he got injured, now in my mind we've got a problem.
Yeah.
But if he plays like he did last night, they're fine. I mean he was 6 of one, half a dozen of another.
And Stanley was all right with him last night, right?
Yeah.
Mostly.
Yeah, and Stanley was good with Metza for 5 games too.
Right. You know, Paul Hamilton on the Western Hotline with us here on WGR. What did you think overall, Paul? Because Lindy called the first 40 minutes their worst game or worst 40 minutes in 3 months, I think, after the game. Like overall, and then maybe we'll get into some particulars because Mike and I got pretty deep very early in our show today talking about the last 2 goals Boston scored and just what Luukkonen could have or should have done and how much blame, etc. But how about the overall last night?
Yeah, and it's unexplainable. I've been saying it for years, that first game back from a West Coast very often, not every time, but very often, is just not good. And I don't necessarily disagree with Lindy Ruff. The first 2 periods were horrendous. But they're a good enough team now that they're in the game.
Yep.
When they play poorly, they're in the game. I mean, San Jose, they were playing poorly. And next thing you know, 3 goals are in the net and you're up 3-0.
Right.
I mean, it was like, that's not the way they used to do it. They'd play poorly and be down 6-0, not up 3-0. You know, and so they do it differently now. They protected a 1-goal lead in Vegas again
for 40 minutes.
Luukkonen to make some really good saves along the way. It wasn't their best game, but they defended the lead, and for 40 minutes, for 1-0 and won the game 2-0 on an empty netter. So that's the difference, that even when they don't have their game, they can find ways to win sometimes, find ways to get points when you're down 4-2 or when you're down 2-1 and come out in the third period and, well, you take the lead, and you have been, for the most part, good at protecting 1-goal leads, but not in the last 2 games. But at the end of the day, to me, it's nothing to freak out over, and I'm not saying you are, I'm just saying anybody that is. Because you've gotten points in 14 of your last 15 games, and you're 12-1-2. And the one game you lost with 1:33 left in a 1-1 game, and you were 1:33 from getting a point in that game too. So I'm not overly concerned by it. Yeah, they have lost 2 in a row. If you look at it that way, that is true. But they're still ahead of the Tampa Bay Lightning in points percentage. They're right on the tail of the Carolina Hurricanes in point percentage. They're tied in points, but the Hurricanes do have that 1 game in hand, so they're still right there. And, they haven't really done any damage to themselves, I don't think, other than now Tampa Bay does have their own destiny because if they win their 2 games in hand, they're ahead by a point. But they got to win those games. I mean, there's no guarantee they're going to win those 2 games in hand.
And you still get to play them again.
Sure.
If you fall behind.
On Dingus Day.
On Dingus Day.
That's right.
Yes.
Even.
Right.
The 3-3 goal, Paul, Middlestat. What did you see?
Yeah, it's you could tell right away, and you could tell by his reaction when the puck hit the wall. I knew right away he didn't know where it was, because all of a sudden his head turned to his left, over his left shoulder when the puck hit the wall, and he's looking for it. He had no idea where it went. And so he hears that, and he looks to see if the puck was over on the wall, and it's dribbling through. Well, Dahlin doesn't have Middlestat tied up. Middlestat standing in the crease. Luukkonen has not located the puck. He doesn't know where it is, and it's an easy tap-in for Middlestat.
Yeah, should Dahlin have been maybe just, I don't know where the puck is, get the man type of thing?
Yeah, that's what I would have done.
Yeah.
That's what and I'm going to go way back here. Remember in the playoffs against Pittsburgh when the puck's up in the air and Warner and Zhitnik are standing there?
Yes.
And neither one knew where the puck was. It's like tackle him.
Right. Cross-check Mario
Lemieux. You have no
in the
idea
chest.
where he is. Do not let him stand there.
Right. What you want to do is hit that man. Get
Yeah,
that
just
man.
whatever you got to do. If you can't find the puck, do not let him
It's
stand
coming
there.
down eventually.
So yeah, I kind of equate that kind of the same way.
And so, how hard would you be on Luukkonen for that? Like a bad bounce, like it went off his blocker, I think, too, right? Like, but not he just like sort of deflected, which is why maybe he didn't know where it was.
Well, he had guys around him too. It was a
Right.
schmozzle a little bit, so he had guys around him, so he wasn't free to really look around too much. And then he lost it, and he didn't know where it was. Now, the overtime goal is a totally different story. But this one, I didn't blame him
You
in the least.
give him some benefit of the doubt there.
Yeah, absolutely.
The OT one, Paul, what is that? Like, I thought also, like, it's a guy in, clean look and all that, but he was just, there was so much room between his legs. He just was not, I guess I would say, like, as a former goalie dad, technically sound coming across. Like, he was all arms and legs all over the place, kind of. And I don't know, I guessed earlier maybe he knew he was late because it was Pasternak with the puck and he didn't want to cheat. And so he knew he was going to be unsound and just tried to take up as much space as he could. Right?
Or did he want to stay there thinking that Zacha might go back to Pasternak?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, because, he was in a very awkward spot, and it was a very easy goal. Now, I have huge problems with people the way they played that goal.
Yes.
That have nothing to do with him.
Right.
To me, the puck and the player never should have been anywhere near Luukkonen. I mean, it's like, come on, boys. I mean, Ryan McLeod is an excellent hockey player. He really struggled yesterday. I mean, on the second goal, he's quit skating.
Yep.
And, I mean, he could have picked up Arvidsson, and it was a great poke check by Luukkonen. I loved the play because Pasternak was not expecting that. Poke checks the puck off him, and McLeod gave up on Arvidsson. What do why?
Yep.
And before that, and Lindy Ruff was pretty mad about it. He talked about it after the game. He wasn't happy with Tuck not getting the puck out.
Sure.
Not hard enough on the battle. Not hard enough on the wall. And then he went after Doan on the Middlestat goal. Same thing.
Same, right?
You're not hard enough on the wall. Now, those are two players we're not normally talking about like this.
Mm-hmm.
And three players. McLeod's a very good defensive player. I mean, and he just waved at Pasternak and turned away from him. And I'm scratching my head going, what are you doing? What? You just wave at him and turn away? In overtime?
Let him continue on the rush, and then Dahlin's there, but Tuck cheats, and that's.
And they both are. They're both there, but they're both looking at Pasternak. So you've got all three Sabres concerned with Pasternak. And now I understand he's a superstar. I get it. But all three of them didn't need to be concerned with him. And Tuck just let Zacha go right by him because he's the right defenseman. He's looking at Pasternak. Dahlin has him covered. Dahlin's doing his job. He has him covered. And Zacha has a free lane to the net.
Yeah.
On one positive note, or you have something else on this?
I was just going to say the play on Tuck, the second goal, Paul. So we jumped around there a couple times talking about a couple of different plays. But Tuck, a really bad job by him. So close to the line. Power gets way up in the zone. And, what do I say? Their superpower is these D and how they join the rush and are so much a part of the offense. Power's going up the ice like he thinks Tuck is coming out of the zone.
Because normally Tuck 9 out of 10 times is. So he anticipates, maybe not a good idea because it wound up burning him, but he anticipates, all right, here we go, because Lindy Ruff is pushing them to get up the ice.
Right.
Sometimes it won't work.
So tough play. They got burned. Their superpower burned them there, I think. Yeah.
That probably happens in the comics sometimes.
Sure, oh yeah.
Hubris kicks in.
Yeah, the villain turns the superhero's power on himself.
Something like that.
Somehow, with a mirror.
One positive thought I had, being there last night, the Zucker vibes are tremendous. Like the two goals, they're in the same spot, right? He ends up in that corner glass, arms out, the big smile. The crowd is eating that up.
Yeah, and they decided they needed to tweak a few things, and they put Quinn on there. But what I liked is they basically used Thompson as a rover.
Yeah.
I mean, just go all over the zone. I mean, he's the guy in the top high slot, but he was roaming all over the place and made two incredible plays to Zucker for goals. And, of course, Zucker knows where to be on the power play.
Right.
And that's right on the crease. And really two nice plays by Thompson to set him up for goals.
Yep.
So it worked. I mean, that is the positive, is both special teams. I mean, the penalty kill in 2 games had given up 3 goals on 7 power plays. The penalty kill was right on, and the power play was right on. Where the last game against Anaheim, they got hurt by special teams, and the reason they lost the hockey game.
Yeah,
Zucker with the quick hands on the 3-2 goal, too.
Yeah.
Like, that bounces off his skate, and he's still able to bury that.
Well, I was so glad to see that the way and you described it perfectly there, Paul, as a rover, because what have we been saying in here for a couple of weeks? Their power play being as sort of stagnant as it often is doesn't make sense when you look at their 5-on-5 play and how active they are in the offensive zone with the cycle out high, with the defenseman involved, and that the power play seems just sort of very static a lot of the time. So I was glad to see that, get freshened up. I did not know, and I learned this from TNT, that Zucker has a thing with George Babcock's been getting a lot of attention lately. 2,500 games on the bench as a equipment manager or assistant equipment manager. Anyway, they showed footage of a pregame thing, and I guess they do something different all the time. But what they showed last night from warmups was like Zucker grabbing like they were going to fight. Like Babcock is like shoving at Zucker, and Zucker's grabbing him with his gloved hand and pulling him in like he's going to slug him. And it's just guys being dudes, I guess. But I'd never seen that before. And Zucker's been here. It's his second full season with the Sabres. I'd never seen him highlighted in that way with Babcock, but I loved it. It was presented on TNT as like, look at this, look at this group of people. Look at the chemistry. Even the assistant equipment manager is, part of the like psych job here, which is pretty cool to see.
Kind of funny, believe it or not, George and I have been doing that for 20 years. We really have.
Of course you have.
There was one time I grabbed George, and he didn't tell me. He had goofed up his shoulder. He had a dislocated shoulder. I had no idea. I had thrown him up against the wall. He just squealed. I go, you know how we operate here. You've got to let me know if you've got something like that.
Make a T-shirt that says it. Don't touch me.
Not today, Paul.
I have one of those if he needs one.
But George is so much fun. I mean, over the years I've had so much fun with him, and he's a little bit crazy. And I'm not saying anything out of turn here. He knows I would say that, and he'd be totally fine with it.
Well, the thing that I'm saying was highlighted on TNT last night definitely endorses that.
More good vibes.
But you know what? I didn't score 2 goals afterwards.
Well,
maybe tomorrow.
Zucker
did.
Try harder, Paul.
Thanks, Paul. We'll talk tomorrow night.
Yes.
All right, there's Paul Hamilton on the Western Hotline. His appearances here on WGR brought to you by Relax Honda. Relax, we got this.
Back after sports, Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, WGR.
Buffalo Sabres made some roster moves today as the team announced they have sent Zach Metza to Rochester. And then earlier this morning, Noah Austin not at practice. He is getting evaluated for an upper body injury. Sabres Injury Report, it is brought to you by Hamburg Overhead Door. Is your garage door injured? Call the experts at Hamburg Overhead Door to get your door healthy again. The Sabres, they're back in game action tomorrow night when they host Detroit. Around the rest of the league, it is another packed night, 13 total games, some of the notable ones to keep an eye on. Montreal hosts Columbus. Dallas is at the Islanders. The Sens are hosting the Penguins. Keynote for Ottawa. Thomas Chabot out 6 to 8 weeks with a broken forearm. And then the Kraken, they are in Florida versus Tampa Bay. All of those games will get underway at 7. The Bills announced guard Austin Corbett, center Lloyd Cushenberry, and wide receiver Trent Sherfield have all signed one-year deals with the team. And then the NCAA tournament will get back underway tonight. Texas at Purdue just after 7, and then Arizona versus Arkansas following that. Both of those games will be right here on WGR. Coverage will begin at 7. Then the other 2 games are Iowa, Nebraska, 7:30, then Illinois, Houston following that. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
Well, I got a partial answer to that. He's never had a 5-run inning and didn't have one last year, and that's going to be it. Wow. Don Kelly has seen enough, and Paul Skeens will be done after 37 pitches and 2/3 of an inning on opening day. Wow.
NBC with the Mets-Pirates opener. I don't know. I watched every pitch. Seen enough. I don't think Skeens was bad. I'm going to go baseball guy for like 30 seconds. The Robert at bat was beautiful. Luis Robert Jr. for the Mets, center field. And he battled 10, 11 pitches and worked a walk. The previous hitter also got Skeens, one of those first few hitters, maybe Bichette, I'm not sure. He went fastball, curveball, changeup, sweeper or slider. He threw 4 different pitches to start an at bat, and he just wasn't missing bats, which, the standard's pretty high. Mm-hmm. He wasn't missing bats. He has a chance for a reasonable inning, and the Pirates do go on to score 7 runs in this game, but his center fielder lost the ball in the sun maybe twice. The first one maybe was the wind, and then the second one was the sun, and that was 4 runs right there, O'Neill Cruz. And they were talking about how he doesn't or wasn't wearing sunglasses, which maybe that was a mistake. Mm-hmm. So Skeens easily could have gotten out of the first without too much damage. Nobody took him deep or anything. And then, great pitchers sometimes. I mentioned Tom Glavine earlier. They always said this about Tom Glavine. Once he gets out of the first inning, look out. Mm-hmm. But sometimes he would struggle early. And they say that about all the great pitchers, don't they? I mean, he was close. They were in no mood to suffer through it, though, with him. Opening day, just go take a shower. We'll be fine.
Are you I know you're not a Mets fan anymore, like a big
Correct.
Mets fan. So I if you're a big Mets fan and you're at opening day, and of course, you want your team to win, yay, I love the Mets, let's go Mets. But you also know you've got a ticket to see the best pitcher in baseball. Is there room for you to be disappointed that he got knocked out so early? I think there is.
A little bit.
When I was younger, probably not. But if I'm going to Pittsburgh in August, 2 games, a Saturday evening and a Sunday afternoon. And if I'm lucky enough that Skeens is pitching one of those games, I am not a big enough Red Sox fan that I would not want to see Skeens work. I'd want Boston to win, but I'm going to want to see him throw 7 innings. I want to watch the guy. I got a chance to see this guy in person, and my rooting interest, one of 162, is going to kind of take a back seat to that, I think.
Yeah.
I want to see this guy. If he gets knocked out, oh, great, yay.
Well, if you go to all the games, you've seen him and you'll see him again.
Right.
And opening day, you're just feeling it. I don't think you'd have to be disappointed at all, but I certainly get that. It's also a great moment if you're a fan of the home team at a game where you do take the pitch, you do get the pitcher out.
The big guy out.
That's a great moment, whether it's the first inning or wherever. I'm thinking also of Game 2 of the World Series that I went to with Yamamoto, and I mean he was ruining life. Like I was there to see the Blue Jays rake.
Oh, right.
They killed him in Game 1.
2 hits or something.
And
right?
they couldn't touch him, but it got into the late innings, and I kind of thought, let me see if they'll let him finish it, and they did.
Yeah.
And he went 9, and that's the lead of that game. Is Yamamoto went 9, and then he comes in Game 7 and is the MVP. He's pitching the night, by the way. Right. And so, my team lost, but that was cool. Just
being
look how good he is.
A World Series game would mitigate that from a fan standpoint. I'm not saying that Boston and Pittsburgh are playing in Game 5 of the World Series that I want to see Skeens work his magic. I'm going to want to see his I want body parts stapled to the Green Monster if it's the World Series. But mid-August, all right, do your stuff.
It's a great thing. A great pitching performance to be at. It's a great thing.
How soon do I start looking at the pitching rotation?
Not yet. August?
Mid-August.
I wouldn't say yet. Maybe he moved up a date after today.
Maybe after the All-Star break, can I start looking?
37 pitches. Yeah, I think then that would be the time to start. Not before.
Right, okay.
They're going to have the All-Star break, and he's probably not going to pitch in the All-Star game. He could. Either way, well, especially if he doesn't, he'll pitch the first game after the break. Start there. You can do that right now.
There you go.
Whatever the first game is after the break is probably Skeens, and then, count him out.
All right.
In fact, if I want to go to a game and see him, that's how I would do it. If that was priority 1, put him in for the first game after the break in like mid-July, and then every 5th day.
Right. Yep. Well, I didn't think to do that, nor really logistically could I. Boston's only in town for that series. I didn't want to take Friday off, so we're traveling. We'll drive down Saturday morning and go to a couple games, and so I just hope it lands right because that's the only 3 days they're in Pittsburgh, Boston.
Mm-hmm. So, and they won't be there next year then, unless they change the format every other year.
Right. That's how that works.
Sadly, I was in my car and not in front of the TV for the first challenge of the day.
You really missed out.
It was also O'Neal Cruz, the 6'7" Pirate center fielder, who had the nightmarish first inning. He was up, and it was 3-2 on him. Might have been 5-2 Mets or 5-3, 5-2, I think. And they called ball 4. Catcher taps his head. Review. Strike 3. Next guy homered.
Ooh.
So, all right. Auspicious if you're, again, a Mets fan, right? The catcher thinks Alvarez to challenge the call, and he wins on it, and I guess saves them a run. I still hate it. I'm not going to be a fan of the. We don't need 162 games. You can't deal with the Mets have lost today without that overturned pitch. I hate it. Yeah. I wondered this about it, and this is probably known, and maybe it would vary team by team. So. One thing about this system, automatic balls and strikes, ABS, is it's fast. It needed to be fast. It's not only fast in terms of the turnaround, like tennis, but you have to challenge the call immediately. 2 seconds, I think it is. And the managers can't do it. Maybe there'll be some gamesmanship there, and like if a manager has his elbow on the railing, that means, I don't know. But they're not supposed to be able to do it. It's only pitchers, catchers, and batters. And they all say it's a bad idea for a pitcher to challenge a pitch because, his body's in motion and he might just sort of feel, that should have been.
Yeah.
They don't want pitchers challenging. Teams don't want pitchers challenging pitches. I wonder how much authority like the batters have. You get 2 a game. Unless you're right, then you still get to keep your challenges.
Okay.
But you only get 2. We're watching Detroit San Diego. And it was 6-0 Detroit at the time. Now it's 8-0. And there was a close pitch that was called a strike that might have been outside. And I thought, does the batter have like a red light because it's 6-0? There could be a chart based on win probability where batters are informed like, all right, we're not challenging this inning.
Whatever happens, right.
Because they're not. Teams are going to want to save them
it
for
in
the
case
end.
We need it at the end when it really matters.
Right.
If any of it really matters.
So I bet that's known. I wonder if I could find an article on that or something. What are batters told not to do? Because, you're up there and it's going to feel like that was outside, whatever. You're going to want to challenge a bad call and think you're right. Maybe you were right, but you still wouldn't do it. Make sense?
Yes.
Here's Dave with us. Hi, Dave.
Hey guys, I was listening to you guys earlier. I didn't get a chance to call you guys, but I thought it was interesting, and I know you guys have a bet going. I was looking yesterday or the day before the games leading up to Tampa Bay coming here, and starting last night with the Wild, the Lightning have 7 home games,
Right.
which I think is very advantageous for them. And this goes towards your bet and what's happening here. And the Sabres only have 5. And plus, Tampa Bay has 2 games in hand. So I think it's very advantageous for them. I just wanted to get your guys' take on that.
I don't care that much about home or away. The Sabres, for one team, have been great on the road. Do they even maybe have a better record on the road? It's probably close. We talked about this with the Lightning schedule recently, and, yeah. But they have, as it goes, Ottawa twice, Montreal twice. They'll be tested. Tonight, Seattle. The bet is that Lindy Ruff win Coach of the Year. We're not against each other. We're both on the same side here. And we did have a conversation about that as well earlier. There's only so far I want to go to make the argument because the Sabres are a little bit of a shooting percentage, save percentage darling this year. And that's, however, oftentimes how Coach of the Year gets decided. People think they're watching a great coaching job. Maybe they are. Maybe they're watching a team where there's a lot of luck involved. I don't think the Sabres are super lucky, but, a little bit, and that's okay. And Tampa is too. Tampa is first in that category, PDO, this year, but they have the star players where you'd sort of be like, oh, yeah, maybe that's not luck, having Kucherov on your team,
Right.
Vasilevsky.
Right.
So, yep, we'll see what happens. Thanks, Dave. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, WGR. Here's a peek into my life. Just what you wanted. Last night, home from the game, I was with both my kids at the arena. It's like 11, and they retire. Wife's long asleep. What do? Well, I'm now doing the New York Times crossword puzzle every day, and they come out at night for a subscriber. Right. So I'm like, all right, Thursday's a good challenge. Thursdays are fun. And I sat down to do that. But what do I want? Do I want music? Whatever it is. Naturally, I grab the 1975 Oakland Raiders highlight show, which I just want to be able to listen to it. I don't need to see. I just want to hear John Facenda talk.
Music's going to be great. Yeah, right.
And I peek away from the puzzle for a second and look at it. And the Raiders go to Cincinnati in week 5, I think it is. And Facenda says something like, this is their 5th straight road game to start the season. It's true.
5 straight road
the
games.
75, and I don't know why. I texted Sal, and he didn't know anything about it. I looked up the A's sharing the Coliseum.
Right.
There's nothing about that. The A's played through September that year. They were in the playoffs, but went out. But there's nothing like I went to the Wikipedia page for the stadium. Is there some nugget in here that in nothing? So crowdsourcing it. Does anybody know why? The question is, anybody know why the Raiders played 5 straight road games to start the 1975 season? B, would that be the record? Was it maybe instead the kind of thing that just used to happen? Can you imagine if that was like a regular 5 weeks in a row?
Now I'm going to want to go pour through Bills seasons just to see what's the most amount of games they ever, maybe at any point, played in a row on the road, but maybe just particularly to start a season.
My guess would have decidedly been 3 would be the record. I don't know about in the 60s if that was different. Yeah. They would maybe stay out west or something to make travel easier. But in modern times, they've played 3 in a row at home or away since the 80s. Sometimes. Not every year.
Do you know who the 5 games were against? Could it be
Miami, Baltimore, Kansas City, Cincinnati? I forget the third one. Maybe San Diego.
All right.
It was all over the place.
Right. So not all in one, not all East necessarily.
No, they weren't like that House of David baseball team where they wore beards and they just went train to train, city to city. Right. It wasn't in a line.
Barnstorming.
Where the 1975 Raiders actually barnstorming. Speaking of the Raiders, there was a story about how Tom Brady kind of wanted to play again.
Yeah, I saw something about that. Yeah. Okay.
Be 48 in August. How would he do? Probably fine, you think?
Probably fine.
Probably be good. Raiders a playoff team if Brady plays the season?
No.
Still no. Okay.
No.
Has he ever missed? Hardly ever missed.
Yeah, no, that's right. They did miss that year he got hurt, but they still won 11 games.
They won 11 games anyway.
But they missed, yeah. Right.
And they missed in the 2002 season with Brady, but that might have been it. Even with Tampa, they never missed, I think. Well, it's not happening though.
I
he
guess
said the league didn't want it.
I didn't read I did not click on the story. But the quotes that were in the tweet were the league didn't seem to be fond of the idea because of his ownership stake, I guess. But yet, I don't know. He's broadcasting games. Troy Aikman's involved with the Dolphins now in the front office.
Oh, yeah?
And he says he's going to continue to do that and still, be broadcasting.
I missed that.
And I don't know, man. It's so annoying.
Sell the shares and go play. While you're young.
Right, or retire from broadcasting and go run a football team, if that's what you want to do. I really do not think you should be allowed to do both of those things.
What he wants to do, as we've known forever, is just be in our news cycle.
Well, that's
what he wants
clear.
to do. That's
right.
what this is.
Yep.
There's another Aaron Rodgers just the same. There's another chance for egomaniacs to remind everybody that they still exist. We might have forgotten about them. It's been 5 minutes since we've talked about you, so we have to be reminded that yes, you're out there, and we know who you are. That's the conclusion. We know who you are. Sal Capaccio with us earlier talking about various football topics. The owners' meetings are next week. They'll talk rules. That's next on WGR.
803-0550 is the number. Let's squeeze Luke in here in this first segment. Hi, Luke. Thanks for calling. You're on WGR.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. Just wanted to kind of get your opinion on Ryan Reeves. He's on waivers. Maybe we bring him in. He's 2 hours away. Sell some tickets. Elevate the team a little bit. What do you think?
I think that's one of the worst ideas I've ever heard. Thank you for calling.